Fox Sports.
We are the Fox. We are the West.
Your Rangers have run this road trip record to 5-2 and will close out the series with the Twins, looking to add to that win total. Young Nick Martinez makes his second start of the trip, hoping to build on the performance that gave him his first big league win on Saturday in Detroit. Good afternoon from Minnesota. It's a getaway special with the Rangers and the Twins next. Texas Rangers baseball is presented by AT&T Uverse TV. Now, another gorgeous afternoon here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul. It's Target Field, the site of the final game of this four-game series between the Rangers and the Minnesota Twins. And welcome in, everyone, along with Mark McLemore, Steve Busby. Glad you could join us for this matinee affair. Rangers have had a lot of them lately, and they've had good success during the day, and they hope to continue that here this afternoon. Nick Martinez on the hill tried to duplicate what he did on Sunday, shutting down a good Tigers team. And Mackey had a lot of groundouts, and that's Nick Martinez at his best.
He did have a lot of groundouts, 11 groundouts out of his 18 outs in that six-inning stint of his against a very difficult lineup that this Detroit Tigers team threw out there. An outstanding job keeping the ball down in the zone, using his breaking ball, and just keeping that Tigers lineup off balance. So Nick Martinez looks to duplicate that against the Twins today.
And the Rangers were able to back Nick up with a dozen runs, so he wouldn't mind that either today. If they could give him, well, even half that would be just fine and dandy to start off with. Now the Rangers try to make it 3 out of 4 for the second city in a row on this road trip. A very loose team getting ready to take the field against the Minnesota Twins. We'll be back with more right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealer. Take the EcoBoost Challenge to see why Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T UVerse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. By the all-new Mazda 3 with seamless connectivity. And by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. A bright, sunshiny day in downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota. Rangers and Twins getting set to wrap things up. Let's head down to the field. Before we get underway, John Radigan is standing by. John?
Yeah, Buzz, ever since Nick Martinez rejoined the rotation on May the 18th, he's pitched very well. The Rangers have won both games he's pitched. He got the win, as you mentioned, in Detroit, and he knows that if he wants to pick up where he left off in those two, he knows exactly where that needs to start.
It's really tough to hit a located fastball. It's, it will always be the best pitch in the game, a located fastball. And, you can work your other pitches off that, then you'll be all right.
He is a quick study. He has already learned that. Of course, he went to Fordham, so maybe we should have known that. Nick Martinez ready to pick up where he left off in Detroit. A beautiful day for baseball here in the Twin Cities. We come back with the starting lineups in the first pitch of Game 4 of this series with the Twins next on Fox Sports Southwest.
Affair, a 12-10 start here in the Twin Cities, and your Rangers taking on the Minnesota Twins. Rangers have won 2 of the first 3 in this series, looking to win 3 out of 4 in their 2 stops on this 3-city swing through the Northeast and East. Well, the Rangers facing Samuel DeDuno here this afternoon. They'll throw Nick Martinez out there to take on the Twins. It has been, thus far, a very good trip offensively for the Rangers. They are hitting well over 300 in the first 7 games of this series. Today, by the way, marks the 1/3 poll in the Rangers season. So for all of you folks that want to extrapolate things out to its full season and predict what the Rangers are going to do, go right ahead. Be my guest. Now the Twins taking the field. Let's take a look at the Rangers batting order, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Shin-Soo Choo again leading off. He's the DH today. Luis Sardinas bats second and plays short. Mitch Moreland at first. Adrian Beltre, the cleanup hitter, plays third base. Alex Rios is in right. Michael Choice gets a start in left this afternoon. Leonis Martin in center. Robinson Chirinos behind the plate, and the second baseman, Rougned Odor, bats ninth.
And the Sonic scouting report on Samuel DeDuno. He's got a 1-3 record with a 3.4 ERA. This is his 5th start on the season and 3rd start overall against the Rangers with an 0-1 record. His career record against the Rangers.
Samuel DeDuno, a 30-year-old, and he has electric stuff from time to time, and he doesn't always know where it's going to go, but the scouting report on him is a good fastball that moves an awful lot in both directions. He'll throw a little cutter and a little two-seamer that move in opposite directions, a curveball, and his big thing is control. Can he command the strike zone well enough with that fastball to make these other pitches effective? And the Rangers will find out very shortly what kind of a day it's going to be for Samuel DeDuno. Take a look at the Twins defense that Ron Gardner has behind DeDuno here this afternoon. Jason Kubel back in the lineup. He is in left field. Danny Santana again starting in center. Oswaldo Arcia is in right. First baseman is Joe Mauer. Brian Dozier at second. Eduardo Escobar is the shortstop. Trevor Plouffe back at third. And Osmil Pinto is catching here this afternoon. And Ron Gardner in his 13th year at the helm of the Minnesota Twins. Rangers come in a game over 500, 27-26. The Twins 2 games under that break-even point at 24-26. Twins an even 500 team at home, 13-13, while the Rangers are a game over 500 on the road at 14-13. Now about ready to get underway. Shin-Soo Choo digging in. Choo hitting at .292. 6 home runs, 15 driven in. And DeDuno's first pitch is a fastball right down the middle. We are underway at 11 minutes after 12 Central Daylight Time. DeDuno back to the plate, and the breaking ball missed. 1-1. A 76-degree afternoon. Breeze drifting from the right field corner toward the left field corner at about 8 to 10 miles an hour. Not much action wind-wise. There's a foul off the bat of Choo, and the count moves to 1-2. You can see the pennants just drifting around. The flags around the stadium typically point in all different directions. The wind gets in here and swirls a little bit, but overall the wind drifting from the right field corner to the left field corner. Ground ball to third. Plouffe for the backhand, and Choo is retired for the first out this afternoon. One up, one away, and Luis Sardinas now will face DeDuno. Sardinas getting the start in favor of Elvis Andrus. Elvis missing his first game this year, or at least not starting for the first time this year. He had started the first 53 games for the Rangers, and Ron Washington said that's a streak I want to stop right now.
Yeah, this is a good time. I mean, you've got an early game, not just an early day game, which is usually 1 o'clock. This is a noon start, and even though he didn't last very long in last night's ball game, this is a good spot for him to take a rest. Got a tough weekend series coming up, and just give him that rest. He's got somebody that he can put out there that can swing the bat and play some defense as well.
And a strike to the outside corner, so Sardinas now down on the count, a ball and 2 strikes. In case you missed it last night, Elvis left early, courtesy of home plate umpire Ed Hoberg. Decided that he didn't really like what Elvis was talking about, so he said, why don't you take the rest of the evening off? That was in the 6th inning. 2-2 now to Sardinas. DeDuno's next pitch, up the middle, into center field, a base hit. DeDuno is throwing everything at that, the glove and his knees and feet, and couldn't knock it down. So Luis Sardinas with a 1-out single is aboard. The Rangers have their first base runner.
It's a nice piece of hitting by Sardinas. Fastball up and in the zone, too close to take with 2 strikes, and drills it right back up the middle for the Rangers' first hit of the day.
Well, Sardinas, who got the start at second last night, then moved over to short, his more natural position as soon as Elvis left the ball game. 1 on, 1 out. Here's Mitch Moreland, and Mitch steps in hitting at .272. 6th straight start for Mitch in the 3-hole in the Ranger order. Takes the first pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. Jerry Lane, by the way, the crew chief, calling the balls and strikes. Mitch, that .318 on base percentage, trying to get that up. He has not been able to garner many walks lately. And DeDuno checks Sardinas back with a step off and look over to the bag.
You know, but so far Mitch has really impressed me moving into that third spot. He really hasn't changed, you know, his approach. He's going out there looking for a pitch to drive, and more times than not, he's been hitting the ball on the screws.
Rip and a miss. DeDuno came down and in with a looked like a cutter. And the count moves to 0-2.
You know, I say that because most batters that move into the third slot, that's not their normal position. They think all of a sudden, hey, I'm hitting in the third hole now. I've got to be this big power hitter. I've got to drive in this run. I've got to do this. I've got to do that, as opposed to just going in there and being the hitter that they are. Wash has put him in there, obviously, because Prince Fielder's out, but Mitch Moreland, I think, can handle that.
DeDuno back to the plate, and Moreland wraps one foul outside first. Still no balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, you got to make sure, I would think, as a manager, before you make a move like that you understand the individual. What kind of a mentality does he have? Is he going to feel compelled to change something? And Wash had a lot of confidence that Mitch Moreland, because of Mitch's experience at all spots in the lineup, would be able to handle it.
Yeah, I think you're right. And, you know, Mitch is a very even-keeled kind of guy. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. And that's the kind of mentality you've got to have when you're in the middle of that lineup, because a lot of times you're not going to be able to drive that run in or come up with the big hit. So you've got to have that mental toughness to be able to hang with it and come back and get him the next time.
Well, Mitch has not fared extremely well batting average-wise on this trip, just 7 for 31. But he has driven in some runs, and a pitch swung on and missed as DeDuno gets the strikeout. Moreland gone, 2 away for Adrian Beltre.
DeDuno throws a breaking ball down in the zone, and Mitch goes after it. Thought he foul-tipped it a little bit, but home-plate umpire Jerry Lane doesn't think so, doesn't agree with that. So strike 3 for Mitch Moreland.
No, 1 out, or 2 outs, I should say. First strikeout for DeDuno. Here's a guy that DeDuno probably doesn't really want to see. Adrian Beltre is 4 for 6 lifetime against Samuel DeDuno. Make that 5 for 6. He had 4 RBIs in 6 at-bats. 2 home runs out of the 5 hits. Saw Adrian overall at 287, so he has been getting a few to fall in for him lately, and Sardinas getting some attention from DeDuno.
I think DeDuno's trying to do anything he can to keep him throwing the home plate.
If I make enough tosses over here to first, maybe Beltre will get bored. Adrian, a very good road trip thus far, a .370 average. The pitch inside, 1 ball and no strikes.
I like what Adrian's been doing, just being aggressive at the plate. You know, not taking too many pitches. Obviously, that one there is a good one to take. But just being aggressive and using the entire field, and that's when he's at his best. Hitting balls down the right field line, into the right center field gap. And occasionally when he catches that hanger, he can definitely pull that ball out of the ballpark.
1-0 pitch. Tried to take that one the other way and fouled it straight back. Yeah, you see Adrian start using the entire field. Well, he becomes a very dangerous hitter. Got one down the middle there, and just a little bit late pulling the trigger. That makes him so. I mean, it's obviously you'd say, well, why doesn't he do that all the time? It's not that easy, but when he's able to take the ball from line to line, there's almost no way to pitch to him effectively.
You know, and that's not just him trying to, you know, hit a single to right field. He can drive that ball out of the ballpark,
right? Put
it in the right field seats and right center field as well. So he's very dangerous, like you said, when he's playing line to line.
Sardinas at first with 2 outs. Count of 1 ball and 1 strike to Beltre. DeDuno okays the sign, a high set. 1-2. DeDuno from La Romana in the Dominican Republic. 30-year-old will turn 31 on the 2nd of July this year. 6'3", 190-pounder. Into the hole, Plouffe cuts it off, goes the short way, and force out at second. That'll do it for the Rangers. No runs a hit. They strand one. A half inning in the books. Rangers nothing. Twins coming up on Fox Sports Southwest. Twins coming to bat against Nick Martinez, and Ron Gardenhire has put this lineup together to face the young Ranger right-hander. Brian Dozier, the second baseman, leads off. Joe Mauer is at first. Trevor Plouffe bats third and plays third. The right fielder is Oswaldo Arcia. Josh Willingham, the DH today. Jason Kubel, the starting left. Josmio Pinto is the catcher. Eduardo Escobar batting eighth and playing shortstop. Great average in May for the young shortstop. And Danny Santana, back-to-back starts in center. He hits ninth.
And the Sonic scouting report on Nick Martinez is 1-1. Got his last victory last Sunday against a tough Detroit Tigers offense. A 2.14 ERA, 1.6 in his last two outings. So he's done a tremendous job. And, you know, if he's throwing well, if he's on, he needs to keep the ball down in the zone. And he'll induce a lot of ground balls.
Well, Dozier, who had ambushed the first pitch of two of the three games, decided to take that one and swings to the next one and pops it up into shallow right. Long run in for Rios, and the ball blows just into the first row. Out of play. That ball slicing, and what little breeze there was pushed it just enough out of play to avoid Alex Rios. Rios has to run back about 60 yards into right center field.
You know, that ball came off the bat. It looked like he had a play on it. And all of a sudden he had to shoot straight to the left. You see the flags out there blowing, you know, towards the stands to into foul territory, and that ball just got in that jet stream and went foul.
0-2 the count to Dozier. Dozier, a .247 hitter. Martinez back to the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dozier with the 11 home runs, 26 driven in. Batting, or the on-base percentage up there, .352 for the Twins from their leadoff man. Gets this well to center field, but a playable ball for Leonys Martin, who backpedals, makes the grab. That is out number 1. Dozier out. And Joe Mauer coming up. We'll take a look at the Ranger defense. It's delivered to you today by DeMontron RV. And Michael Joyce, the start in left field tonight. Leonys Martin, you saw, is in center. Alex Rios in right. Mitch Moreland at first. Odor and Sardinas up the middle. Adrian Beltre at third. Robinson Chirinos again behind the plate. And 23-year-old right-hander Nick Martinez from Hialeah, Florida is on the hill. And Mauer taking the pitch low and outside for ball 1. Joe had his 7-game hitting streak snapped last night, and he left to a chorus of boos, which Not going to hear very often from the home crowd for Joe Mauer, but Joe, for the second night in a row, late in the ball game, left a runner in scoring position by striking out. And Mauer said, well, I understand, but I'm probably more frustrated than the fans that were booing. So sorry about that.
No, there's no question, but that was very strange to hear this. These Minnesota fans boo Joe Mauer. Understandably, he's not, the last couple of nights hadn't been able to come through in those situations, but there have been many nights where he's absolutely come through for this ball club.
Ahead in the count here at 2-1 to Nick Martinez. And ball 3 is low and outside. Well, Mauer in a hitter's count now with 1 out, trying to get aboard for Trevor Plouffe, the third baseman. I mentioned the Twins 13-13 at home this year, although of late they have won 7 of their last 11 here at Target Field. And a good tailing fastball that fills the count to Joe Mauer. Nick Martinez out of Fordham University. Right-hander goes into the wind, the payoff pitch. And we'll come back and try it again.
Buzz, one of the things that impresses me so much about Nick Martinez is just the fact that he comes out and he just attacks the strike zone. Doesn't matter who's in the box. He just goes out there. He's got his game plan, and he's going after that game plan. And to me, it just looks like he doesn't even worry about the hitter. He knows he's following Chirinos or whoever's behind the plate that particular day and just going with what, those fingers that they put down.
And Mauer hits a fly ball to deep left center, but that is playable for Choice as it kind of slices back over to him. And Michael Choice there. Good pitch on 3-2. Got the ball in enough on Mauer to where the inside out stroke didn't provide any power.
Again, Martinez staying down in the zone, and that's where he's going to be effective at it. Gets a nice pitch, goes down and in, throws right to that target where Chirinos sets it up at. Gets Mauer to hit a lazy fly ball to left field. Very nice pitching.
A couple of fly balls, 2 away here in the first. Now Trevor Plouffe, a .244 hitter, stands at the plate. The breaking ball is just off the outside corner. Plouffe DH'd last night. He is the team leader for the Twins with 30 RBI, 4 home runs. A late swing and a foul tip into the glove of Robinson Chirinos. Nick Martinez, not going to light up any radar guns, but he certainly has the quality of stuff to be a very good major league starter. He has not walked more than 3 in any start. He has not struck out more than 3, and that goes back to what you were talking about, Mac, pounding the strike zone. You do that with the stuff that Martinez has. You're going to keep your pitch count down. You're going to have the ball put in play, and that's exactly what you want.
Well, you heard him talk about it earlier. The best pitch in Major League Baseball is a well-placed fastball.
Yep.
And that's what he really relies on that location, being able to hit his spots, whether it's inside or outside. And if he does that, then he's going to be in command. And that's the way he was in that last outing. And so far today, he's looking the same way.
Fly ball to right field. Alex Rios backs up a step or 2. Puts it away. 3 fly balls. And the Twins hit for the cycle. Left, center, and right in the first. We're going to inning number 2. No score at Target Field. So you can spend your Labor Day with the Rangers at the Medical Center Arlington Rangers Labor Day race. Proceeds, of course, benefit the Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation. The race takes place on Monday, September the 1st. The 5K ends on the field at Globe Life Park, so you want to get into that. For more information, visit TexasRangers.com/race. Alex Rios starting off the Rangers second inning, takes ball one from Deduno. Right-hander back to the plate and a base hit to left field. What's new? 12 consecutive games for Alex Rios, now hitting safely. That's the longest hitting streak of the year for a Ranger. He had been tied with Elvis Andrus, who had a couple of 11-game streaks, but that's the first one to an even dozen.
You know, it's starting just to, get to the point where when we hear the crack at the bat, we know who that was that just got that hit.
Yeah.
He's just scalding everything.
Yeah, and you can't get away with a pitch anywhere close to the middle of the plate against him. You might get him if it's a very good pitch off the plate one way or the other. Not anywhere close to the middle of the plate.
No, it has to be a very good pitch.
He has been tattooing everybody. I don't care who you are. He's gone back for almost 2 full weeks now. And right-handers, left-handers, good, bad, indifferent. Boy, he has just ripped them.
You look at how much he's raised his average. 30 points. Once you get over 100 at bats, it's very tough to get that average to go up 30 points.
Michael Choice takes inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Choice, as you can see, an even 200 with 3 home runs and 19 RBI. He has done a very good job, despite the average not quite as high as he would like it, but he's been driving in some big runs. Got Rios at first. We'll have to keep an eye on Alex. Outside and low. 2-0 with Pinto behind the plate, and he has caught Samuel Deduno for the last 3 times out. Not a very good defensive catch from a standpoint of the little things, not throwing, not blocking balls. He's still a work in progress. Does a lot of work with Terry Steinbach, who's a coach with the Twins. But still a little bit rough, and Rangers might be able to take advantage, especially a guy like Rios.
Yeah, this is the kind of guy you really want to take advantage of. A guy, number one, that doesn't get back there consistently, because even catchers you'd like to have that rhythm in throwing when you're behind the plate. So him not being back there for consistent reps, you want to take advantage of every little thing that you possibly can, and that's one of those things I think Rios can probably take advantage of.
2-1 the count. As Deduno comes set, he will drive Rios again back with a toss. Had a shot of Ron Washington giving the signs over there, and Pinto also looking to his dugout for some signs. So give me some help over there. 8 stolen base attempts, and the opposition perfect against Pinto behind the plate. Inside, and the count moves to 3-1. So Deduno maybe a little distracted by Rios. Has missed a couple of times badly to Michael Choice. 4-game hitting streak for the Ranger outfielder. Started in right last night. He's in left here this afternoon, getting Shin-Soo Choo an opportunity to get off his feet. Rios staying put, and the ground ball up the middle into center field, a base hit. Rios made the turn, thought about trying for third, but Santana got to the ball pretty quickly. But back-to-back base hits by Rios and Choice. The Rangers have something going here in the second. First and second, nobody out for Leonis Martin.
Well, it's a nice piece of hitting by Choice, taking the ball back up the middle. Just got by the shortstop for a single, but Choice wanting to stay in the middle of the field. Got good enough wood on to sneak it through the infield.
You got to be a strong man to hit the ball like that and have it go through the infield. Most people hit that ball and it stops right around second base.
Most people hit it, that's a double play. That's what that is.
Yes. And Michael Choice, a very strong young man. Now here's Leonis Martin. No bunt in the early going, and Martin takes high for ball 1. Leonis coming off a 2-hit game last night. And Washington give him an opportunity to swing the bat here in the second inning. First and second, nobody out. Leonis with 16 runs driven in this year. Deduno, that high set, a check of second. Ooh, Leonis had that pitch, and that's one of those head shakers. You get through swinging at that and foul tipping it and say, oh my goodness, can I please have a mulligan?
Can I go back 30 seconds? Let's just start time over once again.
Not the Wayback Machine, just a little bit.
Just 30 seconds. That pitch is right down the middle, and Martin just misses it, and he knows it.
Now 1-1 the count. A little sawdust coming out of that handle, and Martin is gripping that bat a little tighter. And DeDuno comes back and really ties him up. 1-2 now. Take a look at the Ford leaderboard. Runners in scoring position. Rangers down there at third in the American League. Baltimore on top at 283. Rangers at 274. Just a click behind the White Sox. We've got Alex Rios at second here. Michael Choice at first. Nobody out. A scoreless ball game. And Leonys Martin trying to change that around from the Rangers' perspective. 2-2 the count. Go to DeDuno. Already 28 pitches for the 30-year-old right-hander with nobody out here in the second inning. Couple of runners aboard. Working to Leonys Martin, who has hit an even 250 on this road trip. He's gone 7 for 28. And he lays off that breaking ball. The count is now full. So DeDuno, who had gotten on top of the count, has lost the advantage. 3-2, and Martin trying to keep things going for the Rangers. He'll be followed by the catcher, Robinson Chirinos.
Martin's been putting together a pretty good at bat after falling behind early. Not going after DeDuno's pitches. Trying to get him to swing at a pitcher's pitch.
DeDuno sets the payoff pitch. Out of play to the left. Now, Leonys last night had a very solid at bat that ended up being a double to left field. And it's the first time on this road trip, at least that I can remember, that he really drove the ball to left field. For Leonys, that was in the second inning in his first at bat. And hopefully that's the kind of thing that get him jump started here and get him on a tear for a while.
You know, it really can. And you know, he's had some really good swings. He's just been fouling a lot of pitches off, so he's just a little off. And you know, once he does that, he's going to be really hot. I mean, he's had some really good swings. He hasn't been getting jammed very often or just being too far out front. He's just been missing some pitches and fouling them straight back.
Another 3-2 and a fly ball to left that will twist out of play about 5 rows deep.
You know, it'd be fun to see him get on a tear like he had last year.
Yeah,
when he moved into that leadoff spot.
Yeah, he had about a 20-21 game streak there where you couldn't get him out. He was bunting, and it seemed like every bunt he put down was perfect. And every time he hit the ball solidly, there's nobody around. DeDuno ready once again. Another payoff pitch. Inside ball 4, and that walk will load the bases. Alex Rios doing a little umpiring from second base. He wanted to make sure that was going to be called a ball before he took off. Well, it must have looked pretty good to him.
Smart veteran move. Don't go anywhere until the umpire tells you to.
Ron Gardenhire a little bit uneasy on that Twins bench. Oh yeah, our steel pitch tracker showing you that. Heck, that was a good inch inside. You can see why Alex stood there. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, well, the bases loaded and nobody out. DeDuno getting a visit from Rick Anderson, the pitching coach. Got to slow things down, get the entire infield in there, and let them know what Ron Gardenhire wants them to do defensively. Now they're going to try and play this. A scoreless game, and the Rangers mounting a big threat here in the second inning. Ron Washington's club had back-to-back singles from Rios and Choice. That followed by a walk to load the bases with nobody out. And Chirinos coming to the plate. Robinson catching for back-to-back games now. 1 for 3 last night. He's had a good road trip. 4 for 11 with an RBI and a chance here to get the Rangers going toward a big inning. Ground ball foul outside third, and it is 0-1.
Well, this is what an offense likes to do and what they try to do. They try to get that early lead, jump out in front, let their pitcher give him some breathing room, some runs to work with. And this could be a critical point in the ball game right now.
You got Rios at third, you get Choice at second, and Martin is over at first. 2 singles and a walk for those hitters. And DeDuno had come set, but Chirinos asked for time. Nick Martinez had gotten about a dozen runs of support last time out, so he's looking maybe for more here. So keep going, guys. That breaking ball hangs inside, and 1 ball, 1 strike now the count. And DeDuno throwing the ball pretty well as a starter. This is his 5th start in a row, but Twins not scoring any runs for him. They're scoring fewer than 2 runs a game for DeDuno, and that makes it a little bit tough. And Chirinos pops it up. Infield fly rule will be in effect as Dozier, the second baseman, just a step out on the outfield grass, makes the grab. And that is a very big out number 1. Chirinos not able to drive a run home. He'll leave it up to Rougned Odor with 1 out.
Chirinos probably wants that pitch back. It was a pretty good pitch up in the zone. Do something with maybe hit that in the outfield for a sac fly. He knows he had a pretty good pitch to hit and just missed it.
Our steel pitch tracker showing you like a backup cutter. Just kind of spun there on the inside part of the plate. 1 out. Here is Odor, a 292 hitter. That big 4-hit, 5 RBI game this past week in Detroit. Chance here to get him started on the same kind of a day. And he chops 1 foul outside third behind Benji Molina, the Ranger first base coach. 0-1 to Odor. Rougned with hits in 5 of his last 6 ball games. And that would be at the numbers you're looking at there. 450 the average, 9 for 20, 6 RBI, a pair of triples. Got the bases full of Ranger teammates. 0-2 as DeDuno keeping the ball in on him.
DeDuno throwing that little cutter. Started it inside off the plate and it kept going. Odor thought he could get some wood on it.
It's a tough pitch when it's 4 or 5 inches off the plate coming at you. DeDuno the advantage in the count at 0-2. Got him swinging. Well, pop up a strikeout. Now it's going to take a 2-out hit if the Rangers are to score here in the second inning.
DeDuno goes after Odor. Drops a curveball. Kept it down in the zone. Good pitch with being ahead in the count 0-2.
Back to the top of the order, Shin-Soo Choo coming up for his second at bat. Choo rounded to third back in the first inning as he started the proceedings here today. Shin-Soo just 5 for his last 26 times to the plate. That's a 192 average. The breaking ball stays high and outside from DeDuno. 1 ball and no strikes. It's only the 3rd time all year that Shin-Soo Choo has gone 2 games without a hit. 2 consecutive games without a hit. Be nice trying to snap that little streak right here. Got that cutter in on his fist and fouled it back. It's 1-1.
It's a pretty good pitch so far. It's got some late break to it. And you're a left-handed hitter, even a right-handed hitter, you think you're on it, and then all of a sudden it shoots 3 or 4 inches either into you or away from you. It's a tough pitch to track.
Rios, Choice, and Martin, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. DeDuno taking the sign, comes set. And Choo taps it foul, and DeDuno again the advantage in the count at 1-2. The Rangers had him on the ropes. They haven't let him off completely yet, but he's looking at maybe a foot on that ledge trying to get off that rope. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs. DeDuno a long look in to Josmiel Pinto. Now he is set. Inside and low. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, Chu's one of those hitters that can wait, it seems like, forever before he decides to swing, or whether he's going to take that pitch, or whether he's just going to try and poke it and foul it off so he can get another pitch. He's one of the best hitters that I've seen at it in an awfully long time.
The 2-2 to left field, and is slicing toward the corner. It's down for a base hit. Rio scores. Joyce right behind him. Being waved around third is Martin. Here comes the throw. He slides in safely. And Shin-Soo Choo, an opposite field bases clearing double, makes it 3-0 Rangers. Oh, a key 2-out base hit. And it looked like DeDuno was going to wiggle out of a bases loaded no-out jam. And Shin-Soo said, not right now.
It's a great piece of hitting by Chu. Took a couple of tough pitches, a couple of tough breaking balls down and in, then gets one. DeDuno tries to backdoor him, and Chu stays right with it and drills it down that left field line and clears the bases. But a great piece of hitting right there. That's how you hit, how you wait on a ball and take it the other way and not try to do too much with it.
Well, that really points up what you were talking about, Mac, about Chu's ability to do that, to wait till the last second and just be real quick and short with that swing.
That's big. And, you know, he's one of the best ones at it. And, you know, it was going to be a strike. He stayed in there, waited on it, didn't pull off, didn't come out, stayed right with it, and took it to left field.
Now, Chu with a 3-run double. Now ups his RBI total to 18. He's out at second base, and Luis Sardinas trying to pick him up. Well, Luis got jammed by that cutter. Louis, as you saw, was showing bunt on the first pitch, bunted through it. He may get reminded,
yes,
or maybe it may be a learning experience for him when he gets back to the dugout, that, hey, with 2 out, man in scoring position, swing the bat. You got a base hit first time, right down the first baseline, and just foul. But that's a time when a young player said, well, if I get on, then the next, no, you do it. Swing the bat.
Yeah, you've got a runner in scoring position. You want to drive him in. Now, if it's a situation where there are no outs, then bunt him over, try for a base hit, get that runner over to third base. But even with 1 out, I don't agree with a guy trying to get bunt for a base hit. You swing the bat and you drive that run in for the team.
Low and inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, it's not that he was being selfish in that situation. No. It's just that's just he's a young player. He just doesn't know that yet.
1-2 is DeDuno. Reading the signs now, a little dejected on the mound at the moment after giving up the 3-run double. Right back to him, a 1-hopper, and DeDuno toss over to Mauer. That'll do it. But a big 2-out hit by Shin-Soo Choo cleared the bases off. The Rangers scored 3 times on 3 hits and strand 1. After 1.5, Rangers by 3. broadcast. And that's all thanks to the good folks at AT&T. Just use hashtag Southwest Fan Photo, and your photo might be selected to be aired during the season. We will show you the selection for today a little bit later on in the ball game. The Rangers supplying 3 runs for Nick Martinez back out to the hill to start the second inning. Middle third of the Twins order was Waldo Arcia to start things off against Nick. And the pitch tails outside for ball 1. Arcia, a good series going against the Rangers. Just brought back up from AAA Rochester. Oh, and he hits this one deep to right center field. Way back up the alley. It is off the wall, the very top of the wall. Arcia, almost a carbon copy of the ball he hit here on Tuesday night in that 9th inning. Maybe a foot or two from the bleachers in right center field. His 3rd double of the year, and that leads off the second inning for Minnesota.
I think they're going to put his name on that right center field wall right there. He's been pounding balls off of there the whole series.
That couldn't have been much more than 10 or 15 feet to the right of the other 2 that he hit.
Right. I mean, that right there in that same area. He likes that fastball middle part of the plate in, and when he gets it, he hits a nice hard line drive.
Well, leadoff double. Arcia at second, and Josh Willingham, the Twins DH this afternoon, steps to the plate. Willingham, as you remember, also just coming back off the disabled list. Ball 1 is outside. Willingham had that fractured left wrist. Spent time on the DL for it to heal, and then had pretty good rehab, both double and AAA. Had 19 at bats before the Twins called him back up. Low and outside, 2-0. As Nick Martinez trying to stay away, has fallen behind. Oswaldo Arcia at second base. Saw Rougned Odor, the Ranger second baseman, only a couple of steps to the first base side of second. He's fairly close to the bag, and now Chirino's going to go out and have a little talk with Nick Martinez.
It's a 2-0 count. They want to make sure that they don't make a mistake here to Willingham. Whatever it is that they do, they want to make sure that they're on the same page. So the Rangers just put up a 3 spots, but they don't want to come back and the first 2 hitters and give up a 2 spot.
Well, Chirino's back down behind the plate. He will flash out the series of signs and for the next pitch. The 2-0. And that is just off the plate. 3 balls and no strikes. Well, Nick having a little trouble after the double. Making a good pitch to Willingham. Falls behind. Willingham hitting 5th. He'll be followed by the left fielder, Jason Kubel. There's the left-handed hitting outfielder for the Twins. 3-0 is on the inside corner. Willingham had started to first. Started to take his shin guard off. And Jerry Lane, the home plate umpire, said, "No, put it back on for another pitch." 3-1. Willingham has over half of his career home runs with the Twins in this ballpark. Martinez making sure that Arcia doesn't take off for third too soon. Now the Ranger right-hander sets at the belt. And that pitch is low, ball 4. There are 2 aboard with nobody out, and Kubel coming up. And Mike Maddox very quickly out of the Ranger dugout. He is on his way to the mound, and something that Mike Maddox has been doing a lot in the last several weeks, especially with the young pitchers. He is out of the dugout at the first sign of any hiccups developing.
Right. He wants to make sure that they, number one, keep their composure, that they understand what they're trying to do to a particular batter, and not really let things get too far out of hand with these young guys, because they don't have the experience yet on how to deal with that. So, you won't see a Mike Maddox come out if Kobe Lewis is out there going through this same situation. Because Colby Lewis has been around and he understands, okay, I need to make this adjustment here or make this adjustment there. I've got to bear down and focus on this next batter. So the younger guys, they're going to get some tutoring from Mike Maddox.
So that tutoring session is taken care of, and now Kubel will step in with runners at first and second. Kubel, a .243 hitter, has Arcia at second, Willingham at first. Rangers don't believe he's up there to bunt, which is probably pretty accurate. Guy has a pretty good pop. And Martinez throws a knee-high strike. It is 0-1.
I don't know. I think I'd kind of like to see him lay down a bunt.
Yeah, I would too. He could bunt all day as far as I was concerned. Kubel in a pretty good downturn, as you can see. That 0 for 14 tells you that he has really been scuffling. Martinez to the plate. The breaking ball. Nice block by Chirinos. 1 ball and 1 strike. That 0 for 14, though, with a guy like Kubel, you'd hate for him to turn it around right now. That's why you want to make sure that he remembers he's 0 for 14. Got Arcia at second, Willingham at first. Rangers would love to have a ground ball at an infielder. Rip and a miss. Good fastball from Martinez. A ball and 2 strikes. Good look up the middle. The Ranger defense behind Nick Martinez. Sardinas, the shortstop, and a sneaking in behind Arcia. Breaking ball that just missed, and it evens the count at 2-2.
It's a nice pitch by Martinez, keeping that ball down in the zone. If he's going to miss down in the zone.
The Twins have had a devil of a time lately hitting with runners in scoring position. They were 0 for 7 last night. Check swing, pitches off the plate inside. It's a full count. So 3-2 with nobody out, and runners at first and second. Kubel, the veteran hitter. Martinez, the rookie pitcher. Low and outside, ball 4. That will load him up. Oh, just exactly what the Rangers had in the top of the second. The Twins have mustered in the bottom half of the second. Bases loaded. Nobody out. There goes Mio Pinto coming up.
This is definitely not what Ron Washington wanted to see. Martinez gives up a leadoff double and then walks the next 2 batters, especially right after the Rangers score 3 runs in the top half of the inning.
You got to be careful with this guy. Pinto, very much an offensive-minded catcher. He has 7 home runs in limited play this year. And Martinez gets the call on the outside corner. It's 0-1. Pinto, with those 7 home runs, second among American League rookies this season. Up there with the bases full and nobody out. 1 ball and 1 strike. This for Pinto, his 32nd career start behind the plate for the Twins. He's a .306 hitter in those starts, and he lashes one out of play down the right side. Well, back into the seats. The count moves to a ball and 2 strikes.
Buzz, when a pitcher walks 2 or 3 guys in a row, is that something mental or is it something mechanically that's just gotten out of whack?
In this case, I think it was a mental, it was a reaction, I think, back to the leadoff double. Trying to be a little bit too careful to make a perfect pitch instead of accepting, okay, I gave up a leadoff double, but I've got a 3-run lead with which to work. If that guy happens to score, so be it. Little tapper, a tough play, shoveled to the plate. They get the out. Nice play by Nick Martinez. A good heady play by the young right-hander, as he knew the only play he had was a force at home, and he got the sliding Arcia for the force.
That's a beautiful play for a shortstop for anybody, and Nick Martinez coming in knowing he only has 1 play, and And he can only do it with his glove. He can't barehand it, can't go down with his glove and try and pull it out with his hand. So just does a nice glove flip to Chirinos to get the force at home.
No, a very big out number one. Now we'll see if he can maybe get the double play off the bat of Eduardo Escobar. How about a nice little 1-2-3 double play?
That'd be nice.
Pinto now at first, Kubel at second, Willingham at third. And Escobar, the switch hitting shortstop, goes after the first pitch and wraps it out of play to the left. 0-1. Escobar hitting at .336, a home run and 10 RBI at home this season. How about .373? Even better in his last 13 ball games here at .413. 0-1 pitch. Way inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Escobar 3 out of 9 in this series against the Rangers. Ron Washington keeping a very close eye on his 23-year-old right-hander Nick Martinez. Out of play again. 1-2 the count. But back to the idea, Mac, and that's one of those things I think as a young pitcher you have to learn. Accept what happened. Accept the leadoff double and say, okay, that's past. I made a mistake and he hit it. But you can't back that up with back-to-back walks. And I think that's just from trying to make up for the leadoff double with the next 2 hitters and losing them. Two and two. Now the count to Escobar. Rangers at double play depth. They would like to be able to turn that ball over. See Beltre well off the line at third, and the pitch is a changeup that floats outside, and again the count has gone full. Nick Martinez working overtime here in this second inning. Our Steel pitch tracker showing you a pretty wide dispersal of those pitches. Right-hander is ready, and the payoff pitch is on the way. Out of play. Well, we mentioned that Samuel DeDuno forced to throw a lot of pitches in the top of the second, and Nick Martinez on that same train here in the bottom of the second. Next pitch will be his 40th of the ball game after a 1-2-3 first. Another 3-2 pitch is coming. Moreland has it to second for the double play, and 1 pitch, and they're out of it. Well, better to be lucky than good sometimes, and that ball hit on the button, but Moreland turned it into a twin killing, so to speak, and the Twins are gone. No runs, a hit, and 2 left. On to the third in Minneapolis. Rangers 3, Twins nothing. that line drive double play that prevented the Twins from scoring after a bases loaded no out second inning. Rangers come to bat here in the third now. Mitch Moreland leading off. He'll be followed by Adrian Beltre and Alex Rios. Moreland a strikeout his first time up, so Mitch with the .270 average facing DeDuno. Makes the changeup that floats off the outer edge. And the count evens at 1-1. There's a lot to be said for timing in this game. When you give up a line drive, who you give it up to.
You know, sometimes, hey, it's better to be lucky than good.
Right spot at the right time. And the way things are going for the Rangers on this road trip, it really isn't surprising that that happened.
No, it's not.
1-2 pitch. 2-2 now. They've had a lot of, well, they've done a lot to make their own luck, and their luck has been very good, but they've turned out a lot of runs by just bashing the ball all over the place too. Inside, 3-2 now to Moreland. So Mitch trying to lead off the third by getting aboard. Adrian Beltre waiting in the on-deck circle to be next. DeDuno back to the plate. Base hit to center field. Well, Mitch ripping that ball right back through the box. And he is aboard. That for the Rangers, their fifth hit against DeDuno. Now with Mitch on first, we'll take a look at the Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery. How about bases full and one out? A bullet, and Mitch says, I got it. On to Sardinas. That freaky fast double play all of a sudden turned gloom into doom for the Twins.
Beautiful play.
And Mitch starting off the third with a base hit. Here's Beltre. He pops one up. Shallow left field. Going out is the shortstop Escobar, making the call and the catch. Right behind him was Kubel, but Escobar had it all the way. That is out number one. Now before Alex Rios comes up once again, let's take time for a Mazda game break. Here's Aaron Hardigan. Aaron. All right, Aaron, thank you. Well, the Rangers doing what they can. We have put together some pretty good winning numbers on this road trip. 5 out of 7 thus far. They've also won 7 of their last 10 and trying to keep things going here in the Twin Cities. Breaking ball that backs Rios from the plate and catches the inside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Alex extended his hitting streak to an even dozen with a base hit leading off the second. Came around to score the first Ranger run. He trotted home from third on the 3-run Shin-Soo Choo double with 2 outs. 1-1 pitch. A ball and, or I should say 2 balls and a strike. But Rios now on this road trip 16 for 32, and my math skill's not that great, but I think that's about 500.
Yeah, I think you're right.
2-1 pitch to center field. That'll push Santana back a few steps, but he has plenty of room. Now comes on where he started that whole thing. That is out number 2. Moreland back to first, and Michael Choice coming up. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. You can join the millions of subscribers and watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit TexasRangers.com for details. Michael Choice, a base hit right back through the middle, his first time up. DeDuno a look at first and drops a breaking ball to the inside corner. DeDuno has thrown a lot of breaking balls to right-handed hitters that have stayed inside. And one of these times he's going to do that, and the right-handed hitter is going to recognize it and not back away from the plate. And that thing's going to end up somewhere in northern Minneapolis. Pretty good rip by Michael Choice. 0-2. And that front door breaking ball was what guys call it. Every once in a while is fine. You can get away with that. But you make a steady diet of it, it's going to come back and bite you. 0-2 the count as Diduno sets. There goes Moreland. The pitch is pulled on the ground by the dive of Plouffe and into left field. Moreland had stopped. He didn't know where the ball was. And he'll have to stay at second. But Michael Choice with his second hit of the afternoon. And the Rangers again with 2 outs trying to mount a rally against the Twins.
Michael Choice gets a breaking ball here, gets out in front of it just a little bit, but keeps his hands back enough to where when he does make contact, he hits it pretty hard and drills it by the third baseman, Plouffe, for his second single of the ball game. Moreland was off and running on the play, but really couldn't pick it up. I don't think he had much of a chance to get to third base anyway with how hard the ball was hit to left.
Pitch to Leonys Martinez off the plate inside for ball 1. Yeah, with 2 outs, you're certainly not gonna take a chance to go from second to third.
No, not right now.
Now Martin drew a walk in the second inning. That loaded the bases with nobody out, and Rangers needed a 2-out hit from Shin-Soo Choo to get any damage done. He cleaned the bases off. Did Choo. 1 ball and 1 strike. Moreland at second, Choice at first. Rangers have put together 6 hits already against Samuel Diduno. 2-1. I mentioned Diduno, who started the season in the bullpen for the Twins, coming out to start his last 5 outings. He began the second outing in May against Cleveland. This is his 5th start since joining the rotation. And he misses off the outer edge. It's 3 balls and a strike to Leonys Martin. Diduno has worked 5 innings once, 5 2/3 once, and a couple of 6-inning outings. And the Rangers making him work hard. This will be his 67th pitch, and he has 2 outs in the 3rd inning. The 3-1 coming to Leonys. Ground ball, and Bauer underhands to Diduno covering, and that will do it. Rangers get a couple of singles, but Strand 2. We played 2.5 in the Twin Cities. It's the Rangers leading 3-0 on Fox Sports Southwest. On Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. Well, a gorgeous afternoon here in Minneapolis. Look at downtown across the Mississippi River. Maybe a few high, very thin clouds floating overhead, but for the most part, a brilliant blue sky. Rangers have enjoyed the environs here this afternoon, leading 3-0 as the Twins come to bat in the bottom of the third against Nick Martinez. Danny Santana, the number 9 hitter and center fielder, will lead things off. Santana, a switch hitter, starting in place of Aaron Hicks, who has missed the last couple of days, had a sore lower back, and a beautiful bunt. That's going to be a base hit. That little tweener between Martinez and Moreland, not much you could do, even if you played it perfectly, where Moreland goes to the ball and then flips it to Martinez. Santana was getting down that line pretty well.
That's a perfect bunt by Santana. That's just in the middle of no man's land. That's out of Nick Martinez's route to get to the ball. And as soon as Mitch Moreland leaves first base, that runner's going to be safe. But there's really nobody there to be able to make that play. So that's just a perfect bunt by Santana.
Well, that is the second hit this afternoon for the Twins, and it takes the Minnesotans back to the top of the order for Brian Dozier. Dozier began things by flying out to center field here this afternoon. First pitch from Martinez is inside and low for ball 1. Nick now having to work from the stretch. He's worked from the stretch a little bit more than he had cared to the last inning plus. First hitter in the second got aboard. It was from the stretch after that. Slowly hit to third, and in foul territory, Beltre gathers it in. But it is ruled foul by Jerry Lane, the home plate umpire. And we'll come back and try it again with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Beltre not taking any chances, though, and throwing to first.
Yeah, you got to go ahead with this play. Dozier gets out in front a little bit and tops this ball and pulls it. It's right down the line, but at the last minute it kicks foul. But as a third baseman or defender, you've got to still make that play because you don't know what the umpires are going to call. Obviously, it was a foul ball, but you still have to continue with that play just in case.
Dozier back in. Santana with good speed, getting the lead from first. And Martinez will drive him back with a throw. Nick Martinez, one of those guys that very accomplished on the fielding part of playing the position of pitcher. He was an infielder in college and has the ability to make that short, quick throw and also the quick feet. That's up over the head of Dozier, makes him sit down, and it's 2-1.
This pitch by Martinez. It's like supposed to be a breaking ball.
Yeah.
It didn't break very much.
Knocked down breaking ball. Two and one. Martinez reading the signs from Chirinos. The right-hander's ready. Long look at first. And a skied fly ball to right center field. Jonas Martin moving into the alley, waits for it to come down. That is out number 1. Santana back to first. And now Joe Mauer will come up. Dozier is twice skied to center here this afternoon. The folks join Southwest Airlines in celebrating the arrival of nonstop love. Go to southwest.com/RangersLove to enter to win round-trip tickets. Joe Mauer flied out to left field on a 3-2 pitch, his first time up. A very un-Mauer-like batting average right now at 275. Mentioned Joe having his 7-game hitting streak snapped yesterday, but he's been scuffling for the better part of a couple of weeks now with the bat. Takes outside and low for ball 1.
Well, whatever it is, let's hope he stays in it until tomorrow.
Yeah. or even later on this evening.
Yeah,
that's fine.
You don't have to take it to the next day.
Nick, a snap throw over to first, diving back is Danny Santana. 1 on, 1 out. Rangers on top here, 3-0. Nick Martinez wouldn't mind getting another line drive double play if that's what Mauer would care to do. Good fastball to the outside corner. It's 1-1. Our steel pitch tracker showing you that well-located fastball as Nick Martinez talked about it. Mauer in this series is 2 for 13. And a very close play that time. Santana spun his wheels a bit, but Martinez also made a perfect throw right down on top of that hand. Mitch slapping the tag down just a shade late, but not by much. See Santana stepping off that lead at first. And he draws another throw. One ball, 1 strike to Mauer. And Nickel. I go back to focusing on making a good pitch to Joe Mauer here. Check over the shoulder at first base. A set. And the pitch is on the outside corner again. 1-2. Now you keep throwing out there, and you get the umpire used to ringing that right hand up. You get a little bit edge, a little off the edge. And pitchers like Greg Maddux and folks like that just lived on one corner. They'd get a little extra from time to time. Didn't need it, but they got it. Other way, that's a base hit for Mauer. Santana turned at second. He will hang on as Michael Choice gets the ball back in. There's a hanging breaking ball that Mauer took the other way and shot it right past Adrian Beltre for the 1-out single.
It's just a matter of time before Mauer made that adjustment. He sees the Rangers are throwing him away. And got a backdoor breaking ball and just shot it down that left field line for a single.
So a pair of hits, a bunt single, and now a Mauer opposite field single. First and second, Trevor Plouffe, who flied to right in the first inning, will step to the plate. Plouffe a .242 average. Takes strike 1 from Martinez. Rangers have handled Plouffe pretty well in this series. He is 2 for 13. 1 for 4 in yesterday's ball game. Got Santana at second, Mauer at first. Not hit very sharply to left. On comes Choice. He can't get there. Santana read it well, so he'll be waved around third. And coming to score on a looping single for the RBI. And it makes it 3-1 in favor of the Rangers. Plouffe drives in his 31st run of the year, and Mike Maddux again making the trip to the mound to slow things down a little bit for Nick Martinez.
Well, Plouffe gets a breaking ball inside, didn't break very much, and just dunks it into left field for an RBI single. Looks like Martinez is having a little bit of trouble with that breaking ball, not really able to control it or get much break on it.
Having a hard time getting it over to the first base side of home plate. Both he and Deduno are having the same kind of problem. That's the first time that Nick has been really hurt by it, but he has thrown a few of them in there. Well, the Twins break through. They get a run on 3 hits so far. Still just 1 out. Mauer at second, Plouffe at first, and here's the dangerous Oswaldo Arcia. Arcia had a double high off the wall in right field as he led off the second inning. Check swing on that fastball that's high for ball 1. Arcia now an active 6-game hitting streak. That goes back to his first stint with the Twins back in early April. But he has shown some power. That double, his second of the series. 2-0. Nick Martinez scuffling a bit here in the bottom of the third inning. Got Mauer at second, Plouffe at first. They both singled. Plouffe with the RBI hit. 2-1 on the foul back to the screen. Arcia at Rochester got things back into shape. He had 312 in 22 ball games with 18 RBI. It's a pretty well located fastball there. You get it up above belt high to Arcia, and he's going to have a little trouble more with it. Pulled this one down the right field line, but that's his well foul as he hooked it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He's going to have to go back and get a new piece of lumber with which to work. Arcia telling the bat boy to give him the one with all the hits in it. Guy can't find it. Where is that one?
The hit bat. You know, it's really, kind of strange sometimes. And I think most, a lot of baseball players are superstitious, obviously. You've seen it over the years. You get comfortable even though you have the same bat model. There's some bats that just don't feel the same in your hands. And it can be difficult sometimes to really get bat or a few bats that feel good. So when you do break your bat, you've got one that's ready that you already like.
Mm-hmm. You're supposed to have one ready just in case you break your bat, right?
Yeah, I think you're supposed to have a couple lined up over there.
Now the 2-2 pitch. Towering fly ball to right center field. Going back is Leonys Martin. He is under it near the wall. Makes the catch. Mauer tags at second. He's moving to third. The throw and in with a slide is Mauer. Leonys Martin uncorked that throw from the wall in deepest right center field and threw a one-hop strike to Beltre.
And I don't think Mauer was aware that the throw was coming in. He kind of just, he hustled, but wasn't running full out, not thinking that Martin was even going to try to throw him out. Martin gets behind this ball, gets his momentum going toward third, and recognizes that the runner at first was halfway, so he didn't have to worry about that runner at first tagging and going to second. So he just uncorked it and put it all the way to third base on one hop.
About halfway there, Joe Vavra, the third base coach, started screaming at Mauer. He said, "Come on, get over here." No, that is a long out number 2, and you can exhale now if you're a Ranger fan. That ball stayed in the yard. Josh Willingham, the hitter, with runners at the corners. Base hit to left field. Mauer will score. The second is Plouffe. He will stop there, and Willingham, with the RBI single, makes it a 3-2 Ranger lead. Again, it looked like a breaking ball that never got down and away from Nick Martinez.
Nick Martinez having a little trouble locating that curveball. Leaves it hanging out over the plate, still up in the zone, not much break to it. And Willingham pounded into left field for an RBI single.
Well, the Twins come back with a couple here in the fourth, and Martinez now trying to make sure that's all that they get. Jason Kubel drew a walk his first time. Pulls one foul outside first. It is 0-1. Kubel 0 for 3 in the series, and 0 for his last 14 times to the plate. A home run, 13 driven in. Kubel over the years, though, a pretty prolific home run hitter for the Twins. Pitch down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. He is 5th on the all-time home run list for left-handers in Twins history, 105. Up here with Plouffe at second, Willingham at first, and 2 outs. Good fastball tailing to the outside corner. 1-2.
Buzz, what do you do when you have a particular pitch that's not working for you, especially early in the ball game?
Don't throw it in a situation where it's going to hurt me. If it's a breaking ball, for example, I use the changeup a little bit more and try to stay away from a count that I'd want to throw the breaking ball in or have to throw the breaking ball in. Here's a swinging strike 3, and Kubel down swinging, and Nick Martinez able to limit the damage to 2 runs on 4 hits with 2 left. We'll go to the 4th inning. Rangers lead is now 1-3-2 Texas.
Great start on the road trip, and they are all getting along so well despite what has happened with this team. Chemistry so important, and we see it in spades on this trip in this site. Not every clubhouse has marbles, but this one does. They have a game of marbles, and each day they have been playing marbles in the clubhouse. You can tell how much fun they're having doing it. Elvis Andrus says it's just like being a kid again.
It's a game that we used to play when we were a kid, and we just saw the marbles, so we were like, let's go and try to get back, a couple years ago. So it's always fun, and it's a good way to wake up too.
It is a good way to wake up, and the guys are very competitive about it. Wash has played his share of marbles, too. He told us he used to leave the house in New Orleans with 3 marbles in a pocket. He would come back with 4 pockets full of marbles. So I guess Wash was pretty good at it, guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Easily amused, I guess.
The marble master. 1-1, the count to Robinson Chirinos, and he hits a towering fly ball to the left. This one playable as Kubel into the alley. He's run off by Santana, the center fielder. That is out number 1. Well, Chirinos 0 for 2 as he heads back to the Ranger dugout. Now the number 9 man, Rougned Odor. Rangers leading 3-2. They've out-hit the Twins this afternoon 6-5. Odor struck out his first time up. He was up there with the bases full and just 1 out in the second inning, but couldn't make contact. Left it up to Shin-Soo Choo, and Choo delivered a 3-run 2-out double. First pitch inside and low to Odor. 1 ball and no strikes. Now 2-0. Well, DeDuno has not had a 1-2-3 inning yet today, dealing with Odor. The bases empty, 1 out. In the top of the 4th inning. Slow topper down the first baseline, and DeDuno threw a changeup to Mauer, but it just got there in time. That's out number 2.
As we were talking earlier about players and their bats. You'll see that Odor in that at-bat had a different bat and didn't break it in his last at-bat. He struck out in that last in his first at-bat, but went up there this time with a different at-bat, maybe trying to change his luck a little bit.
Do you have different days? On different days, did different bats feel differently to you?
Sometimes, but for me, being a switch hitter, I had a different bat for each side.
For each side of the plate.
Yeah. And that would mess me up sometimes. Some days that bat didn't feel good on one particular side, so I'd use the other bat that I'd use on one side. And a lot of times that didn't work. Felt like I took the bat up there backwards sometimes.
Now, you were a natural right-handed hitter. Did you swing a heavier bat as a right-handed hitter?
No. They were both the same size.
Shin-Soo Choo going the other way, and he is 2 for 3. Choo with a 2-out base hit gets aboard for Sardinas. Same size, different models, different weights.
Same size, different same size, same weight, but just different models.
Okay.
I needed a thicker handle left-handed since that wasn't my natural side, and a thin handle right-handed so I could whip it a little bit more.
There's Sardinas, who is 1 for 2, had a first-inning single. And DeDuno fires a fastball to the outside corner. Luis average at 296. He stands in there with 1 on and 2 outs in the top of the 4th. Rangers leading 3-2, trying to counter the 2 runs that the Twins put on the board in the bottom of the 3rd. At the shortstop, Escobar across the diamond, and just does get the hustling Luis Sardinas. No, Choo's 2-out single goes for naught. The Rangers strand their 5th runner of the day after 3.5. It's the Rangers 3 and the Twins 2 on Fox Sports Southwest. Giveaway for the first 15,000 fans, and that's coming up on Monday, June the 9th. Catch the Rangers' final game against the Cleveland Indians and snag the only baseball cap giveaway this season. Tickets are available at TexasRangers.com. Nick Martinez to work to the bottom 3rd of the Twins order. Osmeal Pinto here in the 4th inning. Pinto to be followed by Escobar and Santana. Rangers leading 3-2. Twins had 4 hits and pushed across 2 runs last inning. Martinez not able to work out of damage, out of trouble that time as well as he was in the 2nd. Trying to have a less eventful 4th inning. Pitch fouled into the glove of Robinson Chirinos. It's no balls and 2 strikes. Pinto reached on a fielder's choice in the 2nd. He had a little dribbler with the bases full. Dribbled one down the 3rd baseline that took a real nice play by Nick Martinez to shovel it to Robinson Chirinos at the plate, and they got the force. Really the only play that Martinez had on that ball.
Yeah, it was good that he was able to recognize that as soon as he came off the hill, knowing, hey, I've got to get this run at the plate, and all I can do with it really is to get it in my glove and use my glove flip. And you know, the tough part about that is you have to get your body in position to be able to do that glove flip and give a good flip to the catcher Chirinos at the plate, and Martinez did all of that.
Another 1-2 off the outside corner. Fortunately, that's part of PFP, pitchers fielding practice, every single day in spring training ad nauseum. Pitchers go through that. And that's one of the suicide squeeze defense plays that you go through. Got him swinging, down and away, and Pinto gone on strikes, back-to-back strikeouts, one to end the third, one to begin the fourth. For Nick Martinez, one away for Eduardo Escobar.
Another nice piece of pitching by Nick Martinez, hitting his spots and using that fastball to do it. You see Chirinos set up, down and away, and that's exactly where Martinez threw it.
Escobar was the one that lined into that double play that ended the Twins' second inning. Hit a bullet that was picked off by Mitch Moreland, and Mitch threw to second base to Luis Sardinas for the double play. Popped up, Sardinas backpedaling and about 15 feet into the grass in shallow left center, puts it away, and very quickly 2 up, 2 gone here in the fourth inning, and Danny Santana coming up.
Now, this is an important inning for Martinez. The last inning, the third inning, he gave up a couple of runs, so he wants to come back here and put a goose egg up and not let Minnesota continue with that momentum.
He was not able to get the leadoff hitter in either the second or the third, and that puts a lot of pressure on you as a pitcher. You have to immediately work from the stretch, and whatever negative thoughts that you were trying to suppress from before come right to the top. Say, oh, here we go again. But Nick able to get the first 2 outs here in the fourth inning. And he just missed low and away to Santana, who had that butt base hit last inning. Lofts a high fly ball down the left field line. That is slicing, and we'll go back into the seats as Michael Choice over there to keep an eye on it. And the count moves to 1-1. And with Santana up there, Ranger outfield really pulled around to the left. And Santana, of course, a switch hitter, and as a left-handed hitter, they just don't believe he's going to pull the ball. Spray charts, defensive alignments would tell you that he must not hit very many balls in the air to the right of second base.
No, the only thing I think, if he can hit one that way, is going to be a really slow-hanging breaking ball.
And he loops another one foul on the third base side. It is 1-2. Yeah, we were talking about now setting up defenses and pitching to it if you're a pitcher, and that's what one of the things that Nick Martinez in this situation has to recognize is, hey, my defense is way around there. Now, I don't want to make a mistake that he's going to be able to pull, because with his speed, you can get a lot of bases for that. If he pulled one down in the corner in right field, he might be able to circle the bases.
Yes, and that's something you don't want to do. That pitcher has to recognize, okay, my defense is over here. This is where I need to put the ball.
2-2 pitch. That is shot foul on the third base side. That one stayed up, but it was away from Santana. He poked it foul. We'll try it again at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Santana, a .343 average. Martinez back to him, and he pulls that one into right field for a base hit. Over to cut it off, Rios, and Santana, after a turn, hangs on with a 2-out single. So Danny Santana 2 for 2 today.
Martinez trying to go down and in, and Santana just drops the head on it and dunks it into right field. Line drive for another base hit. And, you know, sometimes you have to go inside. Yeah. You know, you're pretty much setting up a way, you know, for Santana, but sometimes you've got to keep him honest and try and go back in. I just don't think in that situation Nick got the ball in far enough.
You know, I think usually, and Santana may be an exception because he has a shorter stroke, but most of the time when you're going to try to come inside on an account that the hitter is going to be swinging, you're better off getting the ball up rather than down. I think most guys have an easier time getting the head of the bat to a ball that's down and in than they do up and in. So Pitch inside to Dozier. It's 1-0.
Right, you want it up. You want to basically go at their hands and try and tie that hitter up a little bit.
Yep.
And it doesn't. You don't necessarily have to go in there for a strike, especially when you're hitting the count.
Right. Dozier has twice flied to center field this afternoon. Santana with good speed at first and driving him back with a quick throw. Again, Nick Martinez. He has shown the ability to keep Santana from getting any kind of a comfortable lead over there. Now Martinez okays the sign and sets. Right out in front of home plate. And the tag is made as Chirinos jumped on top of that, grabbed Dozier and said, you stay right here, I'm going to tag you. And that'll do it. So 2 unassisted on the putout. And the Twins are gone in the 4th. They strand their 5th runner. We're going to the 5th. 3-2 Texas. Shows you that tomorrow night Rangers will be in the nation's capital, Kobe Lewis, and Strasburg going in that ball game. That's a 6 o'clock start on TXA 21. We will have it for you, and then Rangers finish out the weekend in Washington, back home after an off day on Monday to take on Baltimore, Cleveland, and Miami. 3-2 Rangers on top as we start the top of the 5th inning. Mitch Moreland takes a strike. It is 0-1. Moreland singled sharply to center his last time up. 1 for 2 this afternoon. Rangers with 7 hits off of Samuel DeDuno in the first 4 innings. Hard hit ball, but backhanded by Mauer. Little flip to DeDuno covering, and Moreland is retired. 1 gone. Now Adrian Beltre will face DeDuno. DeDuno going to take his time coming back to the mound. Get a little winded breaking off that off the mound. Covering first. Sometimes that's a lot further. It seems like it's a lot further than the 65 feet or so that it is to the bag. It seemed like miles and miles over there. Now a couple of deep breaths, got his oxygen level back up. He's ready to go. Beltre 0 for 2, a pop out and a ground out. The first ball swinging, pops one up down the right side. Dozier looking up into the sun and makes the grab for out number 2. Now Alex Rios coming up, and we are enjoying the use of our Phantom Cam today. Watch what happens when that ball smacks the back of the glove, or smacks the glove, and Robinson Chirino's finger looks like it's come off. Wow. That little ball weighs about 5.5 ounces. You wouldn't think it could do that much, but going 90 miles an hour, it has some force to it. First pitch to Rios is down and away for ball one. Alex 1 for 2. He extended his hitting streak to 12 straight with a second inning single. Last time up, skied to center. Off speed, and that is over. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, Buzz, I bet if you showed a lot of fans that shot right there, that would stop them from putting their hand up for a foul ball.
Yeah, probably would. Folks, and there's, catchers are used to doing that, and all of a sudden their hands getting jacked up all over the place.
And that's a big, thick leather glove that they've got on. It still has that effect.
Probably some kind of padding in there, that extra padding that he wears, depending on the pitcher. 1-2 pitch. High and tight. Rios getting out of the way. It's 2-2 now. Oh, Deduno, all of a sudden now has retired 3 in a row and 5 out of the last 6. Rios just able to get a piece of that breaking ball. Still 2-2. Alex with the average and an even .330. Rangers still the top hitting team on the road this year. They lead all the major leagues. And a shot to center field, but that's slicing back towards Santana. And the center fielder there to capture it. And Deduno has his first 1-2-3 inning. Rangers gone in order. We've played half the ball game. The Rangers leading the Twins 3-2 on Fox Sports Southwest. Saturday morning. It's on at 10 o'clock right here on Fox Sports Southwest, where it's not about the score, it's about the experience. Bright, sunshiny afternoon here in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the Twins coming about with Joe Mauer leading off as Nick Martinez fires a knee-high strike, 0-1. Mauer, a single and a run scored in the 3rd inning, 1 for 2 today. And batting average at .279 for the veteran catcher slash first baseman. And his catching days are apparently pretty much over with here. He fouls that back. This is the first time that Joe Mauer has started a season playing first base. He played there from time to time, but just on an interim basis before. And now Twins feel like they need his bat in the lineup for the next several years. And first base is the best place for him to be. Breaking ball that's just off the inside corner.
Yeah, it's a tough position behind home plate. Putting on all that gear, going out there every day, day in and day out, and he's done it for the last 9-10 years.
Yep.
And occasionally you play first base just to give him a break. from being behind the plate and keep his bat in the lineup. So I guess the Twins figured, hey, why not just give him a permanent break?
Yeah, and he started having a few of the injury problems pop up too, the low back and the knee and things like that. Well, why don't we go with 3 things that you need to know about Joe Mauer? How about a career average of 322, which is why you want him in the lineup every single day. That's the highest among active players. First catcher to win the AL batting title. That was back in 2006 at 347. And the only athlete selected USA Today as he skies to left center field. The high school and football, baseball and football player of the year. That says something for Joe Mauer. And the Rangers got him out again. That's good.
That says he's a pretty good athlete.
Yeah, I think so. And that's the entire country now. That's not just in the city.
Wow.
Well, 1 out as Mauer skies to left field. Now Trevor Plouffe, who has had an RBI single in 2 trips. Plouffe drove in his 31st run of the year. That's tops on the Twins team. He pounds one to left center field. That is going to be down and to the wall. Plouffe steaming into second with a 1-out double. That is his 19th double of the year, and that is the most in the American League. And there was one of those pitches that stayed up and out over the plate, and Plouffe did not miss it.
Well, Martinez goes with that breaking ball again and leaves it up out over the middle of the plate, and fortunately it stayed in the ballpark because Plouffe has that kind of power. It's his 19th double of the year. Into that left center field gap. One hops the wall and then left center field.
Well, Plouffe carrying the tying run in this ballgame at second base with 1 out. Oswaldo Arcia, who has doubled high off the wall in right center. And last time out, hit a towering fly ball to the base of the wall in right center. Takes low for ball 1. Arcia hit that solo home run in last night's ball game, or I should say in Tuesday night's ball game. In the dirt, it gets away from Chirino, so down to third goes Trevor Plouffe, and he is just 90 feet away now in this 1-run game. Wild pitch charged to Nick Martinez.
Martinez going down with a changeup, it looks like. Just held on to it just a little bit too long. Chirinos does a good job trying to keep in front of him, but once that ball hits the dirt, you really don't know which way it's going to bounce. And it just kind of kicked up a little bit off of Chirinos and allowed Plouffe to get over to third base.
Well, Arcia up there. Now the Rangers play the infield all the way back. They will give up the tying run with a chance to get an out here in the 5th inning. Fly ball shallow center field. This ought to be interesting. Not very deep. The catch made by Leonis Martin. He fires a bullet into Chirinos, and Plouffe has to stay at third base. Now, with all the video scouting that's done, that word doesn't take long to get around, and certainly it started last year with Leonis Martin throwing everybody out. And you see fewer and fewer guys testing that gun.
You really do. So you'll see his assists go down, and it's simply because people are not going to test him anymore because he's proven he can throw you out pretty much from anywhere on the field.
Ball didn't take long to get there.
Not at all.
No, that's a very big out, number 2, and now it brings up a dangerous right-handed hitter in Josh Willingham. Willingham picked on a hanging slider his last time up for an RBI single. Deep left center field. The Twins have turned the score around as Willingham leaves the ballpark. It is 4-3 Minnesota. Willingham, his first home run of the year, and it was a tape measure shot off of Nick Martinez, a 2-run blast, and the Twins have gone on top.
Martinez grooves a fastball right down the middle, first pitch. And Willingham, that's pretty much what he's going to be looking for. Fastball somewhere out over the middle of the plate, and he got one, and he unloaded on Martinez's fastball.
Well, Willingham with 3 runs driven in today. Here's Kubel, and he hits a fly ball to center. Hit fairly well, but Leonys Martin has it measured, and that will do it. But the Twins, a 2-out, 2-run home run by Josh Willingham, take the lead. We'll head to the 6th inning here in Minneapolis, 4-3 Minnesota. Jackpot is worth $1,400 and dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. Today, the Rangers are hitting for Eartha Vaughn from Grand Prairie. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, Eartha Vaughn from Grand Prairie will win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Well, the Rangers now playing from behind for the first time today as Samuel Deduno deals to Michael Choice for ball 1. Choice 2 for 2, pair of singles and a run scored. Fastball inside, 2-0. Choice trying to start things off for the Rangers here this afternoon. Nick Martinez touched for a 2-run Josh Willingham home run in that 5th inning. That wasn't a cheap one. He did not get cheated on the carry. Check swing, hits a strike, 2 balls and a strike.
That was one of those that when it hit his bat, everybody knew.
Yep. Deduno back to the plate, and Michael Choice shoots it foul to the right. 2-2 the count. Michael now with a pair of hits has that batting average up to .214, so it's definitely going in the right direction. Deduno back to the plate, and a little tapper back to the mound. Out number 1. Choice retired. Leonys Martin coming up. Let's take time here for a Mustang game break with Aaron Hardigan. Aaron. All right, Aaron, thank you. Nice to see a solid recovery by Yu Darvish. Leonys Martin has walked and scored and grounded out to first. He is 0 for 1 officially. Tries to bunt his way aboard and comes up empty. 0-1. Leonys making his way back to home plate. It's not been an easy trip for Martin. Very up and down for Leonys. 7 for 32. rip and a miss. He is down on the count now. A ball and 2 strikes. No balls and 2 strikes. DeDuno to the wind. And a chopper foul. We'll try it again. Brian Densing, the left-hander, loosening in support of Samuel DeDuno. McQuay, our bullpen coach down there. That's top foul, and the count remains 0-2. DeDuno approaching 100 pitches. He's at 95 right now with 1 out in the 6th inning. He has gotten better as the game has gone on. It looked like that in the 2nd inning he might not make it much further. That pitch high and away. He had a couple aboard in the 3rd, and since then has allowed just 1 base runner. That was a 2-out single by Shin-Soo Choo in the 4th. Martin, a drive, deep right field, down the line. It's high off the wall. The carom is played by Arcia. The throw to second, and safe at second base with a great slide is Leonis Martin. Well, Arcia put that thing right on the bag. And Rod Gardenhire headed out slowly to second base, so we may have a challenge by the Twin skipper. We'll get out there and chat for a little bit with second base umpire Mike Estabrook as his replay crew in the dugout and upstairs kind of look things over.
That's a great play by Arcia. You see him just go away from the wall so he can get a nice carom. He knows it's either going to be out or it's going to bounce hard off that wall, and he throws a bullet to second base and makes it a lot closer than we thought it was going to be once the ball was hit. And Martin does a great job running out of the box and puts on a great slide here and then reaches back with a hand and makes sure he stays on it.
No, Gardenhire making a trip for naught. He got out there and talked a little bit and was given the thumbs down sign by the guys on the bench, so no challenge there. And Leonis Martin at second with 1 out. Now Robinson Chirinos will try and at least tie the ball game by driving Martin home. Chirinos, a pop out to second, a fly out to center field. Down to the count here, 0-1. Chirinos 1 for 3 in yesterday's ball game. A modest 2-game hitting streak going. He's already, however, set career highs in most offensive categories for himself. That pitch on the inside corner. 0-2. Already has career highs in hits, home runs, RBI, and runs scored. This is the first opportunity for him to play on a semi-regular basis in his career. Down to the count here, 0-2, is DeDuno. A little inside move, just making sure that Leonis Martin not going anywhere. Hits are even in this ball game, 8 apiece. Twins have a 4-3 lead. Chirinos trying to change that. Just got a piece of it to stay alive. The foul tip. And it's still 0-2. Rangers on the first 7 games of this road trip hitting collectively .324. Scored 49 runs. Pitch low and outside, 1-2. Nice job by Pinto to keep the ball near home plate, prevent Leonis Martin from advancing. Despite having by far the best batting average, though, on the road in the American League, the Rangers are right in the middle of the pack as far as runs scored. Just about 4.6 per 9 innings.
They're getting a lot of hits, but Obviously not with runners in scoring position.
To left field, that is dropping in a hurry. It's in for a base hit. Martin around third. He will score into second on the throw. Goes Robinson Chirinos, and Chirinos has tied this game at 4 with a key base hit and an RBI.
A great piece of hitting by Chirinos. Fouled the ball off a tough pitch earlier just to stay alive, and then gets a little hanger on this one and drives it in. And this is a great read by Martin. He knows that that ball is going to drop in, so he takes off as soon as it's hit, and that's what makes him, or gives him the opportunity to score.
Go ahead.
Yeah, knowing where that left fielder is makes that play possible. So as soon as that ball's hit, he knows the left fielder's not going to be able to make a catch on it, so he takes off as soon as that ball was hit.
And Kubel not throwing a cuttable ball toward home plate, so they allowed Chirinos to get into scoring position as the throw went all the way to the plate. So a big hit for Robinson Chirinos, a 4-4 game, and that's going to do it for Samuel Deduno. It's like Brian Dempsey's coming in. Pitching change underway here in Minneapolis. Rangers and Twins now deadlocked at 4. Back after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Baltimore. That starts June 3rd. That's a Tuesday night. The first 15,000 fans at Globe Life Park get a Texas Rangers yearbook. Giveaway is collectible. It's also one you don't want to miss out on. Tickets are available at TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS for the June 3rd game for the Rangers yearbook.
The scouting report on Brian Dunsing. It's his 20th ball game with a 1-1 record, a 1.4 ERA. And this is a sinker slider guy. He likes to use that slider, especially the left-hand hitters.
We saw Dunsing here in the opening game of this 4-game series back on Monday afternoon. And the first hitter he faced that day, Rougned Odor.
There you go.
And Odor, in that particular at bat, popped out to short. But it's a little different situation, as he's got Robinson Chirinos at second and one out in a 4-4 game. That slider that hangs high. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Odor today is 0 for 2. Strikeout and a tapper back to the mound. Dunsing, the 31-year-old from Marysville, Kansas. Left-hander with a letter-high set. And Odor flares one out of play. That will be back into the seats down the left field line. 2-1. Mac, you were talking about the bats for Odor. There are the 2 different bats. Left is the second at bat that he had. Right's the first at bat. And just to keep the thing going, different bat this time.
Hey, something's not feeling right. He's not feeling comfortable with something. So, hey, you got to make a change. I got to give it to him. He's not just going to keep going up there doing the same thing. He's trying to make an adjustment.
2-1 pitch is pulled on the ground to the right side. Dozier will throw out Odor. On to third goes Chirinos. But he's there with 2 outs now, and Shin-Soo Choo coming up. So Odor 0 for 3 as he heads back to the Rangers dugout. Choo, like Odor, faced Dunsing here on Monday afternoon. And Shin-Soo at that time grounded to short. But Choo, a couple of hits today. He is 2 for 3. And a bases clearing 3-run double in that second inning. Last time up, single to left field. Dunsing from the stretch with Chirinos at third. And a strike to the outside corner. Rubin's bats, get them lined up.
Looks like he's used all 3 of them today so far.
Just kind of check them off. Yeah, this one didn't work. That was an over. Inside, and that got him. Choo nailed by a pitch, and he gets hit more than anybody in the American League, certainly. Last year, more than anybody in baseball, 26 times. That's the 8th time this year, I believe.
Wow, this can't feel good, especially coming from a left-hander. Gets drilled right, it looks like in the lower part of the back. Maybe a little bit lower. That's not going to feel good.
Going to make that plane ride to Washington, D.C. a little uncomfortable.
You know, sitting on an ice pack or something.
Runners at the corners. Choo on base for the 3rd time today. That seems to have been pretty much his MO for the entire year. Here's Luis Sardinas. Gets jammed and a roller out to short. Escobar across the diamond. That'll do it. The Rangers come back to tie the ball game. They get a run on a couple of hits and leave 2. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. It's now the Rangers 4 and the Twins 4 on Fox Sports Southwest. West is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Take the EcoBoost Challenge to see why Ford is the best in Texas. River racing by here in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Rangers and Twins in a 4-4 tie as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be the bottom 3rd of the Minnesota order to face Nick Martinez. Osmil Pinto leads things off, and Martinez fires a strike. Pinto this afternoon has reached on a fielder's choice grounder and struck out. 0 for 2, and that batting average now at .237. 1-1. Pinto, besides hitting 7th, you got to be careful with him. He's got very, very good power. This is not a guy you want to hang something to. Down and away, 2-1.
No, I mean, 7 home runs in limited action, those are some pretty good power numbers, so you definitely have to be careful with him. And it doesn't matter that he's hitting the 7 hole. He's obviously got some pop in that bat.
Nick Martinez about ready to throw his 93rd pitch of the afternoon. And he made him reach for it a little bit. That ball into center field, but playable. Nicholas Martin backpedaling a couple of steps. That is out number 1. You keep him the big part of the field, and you've got a chance. Pinto is out number 1. Now Eduardo Escobar. Well, folks, you can meet Rangers outfielder Michael Choice on June the 5th at the Grand Prairie location on South Carrier Parkway. That's the Whataburger spot down there. Don't miss this chance to win great prizes and to meet one of your Texas Rangers at Whataburger. Escobar, 0 for 2, takes a knee-high strike. Eduardo, one of the 2 relatively young players that the Twins have at shortstop. Escobar at 25 years of age, and Danny Santana, who is playing center field at 23 years of age. Santana, the heir apparent to the shortstop job, but Escobar, so not so fast here. Slices one to left. Coming on is Choice. Michael Choice had him played pretty well, and that's out number 2. Well, Escobar 0 for 3. That'll bring up Danny Santana.
And Nick Martinez going right after these first 2 hitters, filling the strike zone up with quality strikes, getting a fly ball to center and then a line drive to left. 2 quick outs here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, despite it being a tie ball game, this is still the essence of a shutdown inning. Your ball club's giving you the tie, come back to score a run to tie the game up, and it's your job as a pitcher to really go out and have the kind of inning that you can put a 0 on the board quickly.
Right, you want to shut it down. You don't want to let this team get, take the lead again, especially after you guys just came back and tied the ball game up.
1 ball, no strikes, and Santana a whip and a miss and a changeup. It is 1-1. Lexi Ogando loosening in that Ranger bullpen. Martinez back to the plate. And the pitch just a little bit low. 2-1 for Martinez. Nick now with his next pitch will reach the 100 pitch level. Ron Washington not particularly concerned about the endurance of the young right-hander. There's plenty left there. Fouled away to the left. The count evens at 2-2.
Now, Buzz, you think in today's game that's a mental barrier now when a pitcher, you get to 100 pitches and something changes?
Yeah, and it starts real early. And you're talking about kids that have pitch counts from the time they're in T-ball, and you're not even pitching. It's gotten to the point now where when you get to a certain pitch count, whatever it happens to be for you, 70, 80, 90, 100, all of a sudden you're tired. Because it's a mental thing. You say, well, that must be all I have in me. And that's not what the pitch count was intended to do. But we've gotten to the point where it's the be-all, end-all, and that's just not the case. Dr. Andrews came out with a thing the other day talking about that. He said, we've ruined the idea of taking care of arms with pitch counts by making the pitch count be the answer. The hot shot foul down the first baseline. He said, and Dr. Andrews was at the forefront when they first started using pitch counts. He said the whole idea was a guideline, not certainly not a rule, a hard and fast rule. We've kind of made it the god of durability, if you will. Two balls, 2 strikes, the count. Nick Martinez dealing with Danny Santana. Base is empty here in the bottom of the 6th inning. A 4-4 ball game. Martinez started in the line and thought better of it. Now the right-hander's ready. And the pitch is poked foul. That's back in the seats down the left side. We'll try it again at 2-2. Martinez, 104 pitches. Fox track showing you the locations of all the pitches, all 8 pitches in this at bat. In the dirt, Santana able to lay off. The count has gone full. Nick Martinez trying to get the number 9 hitter to finish this inning. If Santana reaches, we'll go back to the top of the order and Brian Dozier. And this might be the last hitter for Nick Martinez either way. Payoff pitch and another foul ball. Saw Alexei Ogando in the Ranger bullpen. He is warmed and ready. This will be the 11th pitch of this at bat to Santana. We're going to have 12.
You know, these are the kind of hitters that pitchers really don't like. They just foul it off and keep fouling it off, and throw a pitch in one spot, you throw it in another spot, and they foul that off, they foul this off. Next thing you know, you look up and you're on your 13th pitch.
Yep. Another 3-2. Broken bat liner to right. That's going to be in for a base hit. And Santana is 3 for 3. He finally got a pitch that he could get into a safe area, and that's going to bring Ron Washington out of the Ranger dugout, and that probably spells the end of the afternoon for Nick Martinez. The skipper making the slow walk out there. He signals that he wants Ogando to come in from the bullpen to take over here in the 6th inning with 1 on and 2 outs. And that'll do it for Nick Martinez here this afternoon. He goes 5 2/3, gives up 9 hits, 4 runs. The runner at first, Danny Santana, his property. Ogando coming in, a pitching change underway here at Target Field. Back after this on Fox Sports Southwest. From now through August the 26th, and you can enter to win free Rangers tickets and a VIP experience. Visit otbfanzone.com and get more details. Nick Martinez, not his best stuff, not his best command, but very credible what he was able to do with it today.
He was able to keep his ball club in the game, give him an opportunity to win a ball game. A couple of mistakes that cost him, but he did what he needed to do, and he's leaving this ball game in a pretty good position.
Alexei Ogando facing Brian Dozier with Santana at first and 2 outs. This is off the outside corner. It is 1 ball and no strikes.
The scouting report on Alexei Ogando, his 26th ball game with a 1-2 record and an ERA of 6.17. He's only given up 1 run in his last 7 outings, and in 2 of his last 3 outings he's gone at least 2 innings.
And Ogando will drive Santana back. Alexi worked here on Tuesday night. Worked an inning and 2/3 of shutout baseball, allowed a hit, a walk, and a couple of strikeouts. The one walk that he issued was to the man he faces now, Brian Dozier. 1-0 pitch. Snap throw to first, and Moreland had to go up high for that one. Talk about pulling down a rebound. Moreland had to sky as best he could to keep that from going down into the corner.
That's a pretty good rebound to snatch, because if that ball gets down in the corner, there's no telling where Santana's going to end up. He's definitely going to be at least third base. And who knows, maybe more. Wow. I didn't know Mitch could get up that high.
I'm not sure he knew it either. Ogando's 2-0 pitch. Got that one in and over. 2-1 now to Dozier. Dozier 0 for 3 today. He has skied out twice to center. And he tapped one right out in front of the plate that Robinson Chirinos jumped on and made the tag real quickly. Santana with good speed, inching off the bag at first. Ogando will hold now the 2-1 pitch. And the count evens on that foul ball. Dozier 1 for 3 against Ogando, and that includes the walk the other night. That was the first walk that Ogando had given to him. Danny Santana, with his 3rd hit of the afternoon, is at first base with 2 outs. He carries the go-ahead run in this game. Chopper to third, right on the line. It's a foul ball. Right behind the bag, and third base umpire Pat Hoberg was trying to peer around Adrian Beltre to make the call, and Hoberg threw his arms up quickly, and apparently Adrian hurt him.
Adrian tried to make Hoberg think that ball was fair, because he knew he had an easy play over there at first base.
Sneaky veteran, huh?
No.
Oh, 2-2 as Ogando sets. There goes Santana. The throw to second is late. Sliding in with a stolen base is Danny Santana. First stolen base of his career for Santana. He picked the right pitch to go on.
He did. Breaking ball from Ogando. But Chirinos picks it and still comes up and throws a strike down to second, bounces it. But Odor makes a great play by keeping it in front of him and still being able to put the tag down on Santana, although it's a little bit too late.
Well, Santana gets himself into scoring position. The count is now 3 balls and 2 strikes to Brian Dozier. If Dozier extends this inning, Joe Mauer would get a shot at Ogando, and this is the same situation that Alexi had here on Tuesday night. Payoff pitch, fouled back. Ogando had in that 8th inning had a chance to avoid getting to Mauer with a couple of runners on, ended up walking Dozier, and then struck out Mauer looking. With the Rangers leading by a run. Eventually the Twins came back and won that game. And a walk off in the 9th. High and tight, and Dozier sits down before he gets up to walk to first base. History repeating itself to some extent, as the 2-out walk puts Dozier aboard and does indeed bring up Joe Mauer.
Well, Alexi trying to reach back and add a little extra to this 3-2 fastball. Kind of got away from him a little bit up and in.
Chirinos out to have a chat with Alexi. In Ron Washington, you kind of empathize, I guess, with Wash, because the way the bullpen is right now, and Ogando and even Neil Kotz, you don't really know what to expect when they come into a ballgame. Are they going to bring their good command? and the good stuff? Are they going to be erratic? What's going to happen? And boy, it's kind of a crapshoot for them from time to time.
Yeah, it's tough to decide who you're going to go with from day to day. And, you know, typically when they're having success, you know, hey, I can go to this guy, and more than likely this is what I'm going to get out of him that day. But right now, you don't know what you're going to get out of anybody that's coming out of the bullpen.
And now having to deal with Mauer, who takes low for ball one. Joe this afternoon 1 for 3. Base hit back in the third, came around to score. That was the Twins' second run of that inning. And a fastball knee high for a strike. 1-1. Mauer at 278. And these are the situations that Joe Mauer has told you he's very frustrated with, not being able to come through. He's got the go-ahead run at second in Danny Santana here in the 6th inning. Ogando checks second. The 1-1 pitch. Boy, he jammed him. A slow roller out to Odor. And there's a source of more frustration. You hear a few boos from the crowd here at Target Field as Mauer rolls out. And the Twins are gone. No runs, a hit, 2 men are left. We're going to the 7th. Rangers 4, Twins 4 on Fox Sports Southwest. It's about as even as you can get, both teams with 9 hits apiece. Shin-Soo Choo, a 3-run double for the Rangers. That was back in the 2nd inning. He's also had a single and been hit by a pitch. Meanwhile, for the Twins, Josh Willingham 2 for 2. Big 2-run home run, a walk, and 3 runs driven in. Nick Martinez will have nothing to do with the decision, the final decision in this game. Talking to Mike Maddox, talking about a little mechanical adjustment. Getting that hand out and up a little bit more quickly. Talking about hanging a couple of those breaking balls. And most of the time that's for pitchers, that's because you get your body out in front of the ball a little bit and can't reach out in front of you with that hand and snap that ball off. And Mike Maddox showing him a couple of very quick adjustments to keep that front side in a little bit. Mitch Moreland starting off the top of the 7th inning. Mitch is 1 for 3 today. Finds the count even as Brian Dunsing back to the hill. Dunsing came on to get the final 2 outs of the 6th inning. Left-hander back to the plate. Misses high. It's 2-1 to Mitch. Rangers tied the game in the 6th inning. And a double high off the wall by Leonis Martin. That was followed by an RBI single from Robinson Chirinos. Dunsing's 2-1. Now 2-2. Moreland and Dunsing no strangers to each other. Mitch 1 for 9 with that one, a home run off the Twins left-hander. Had a good rip at that fastball away and fouled it straight back. Still 2-2.
Duncan going after Mitch with a fastball. Mitch is just a little bit behind it. Definitely like to get that pitch again.
Dunsing sets. Another 2-2. Popped him up. Coming over his Plouffe. That ball being pushed slightly back and just off the roof of the Rangers dugout. Bounding into the second row. Enough of a breeze drifting in that ball was not going to come back.
A hanging breaking ball ended up away from Mitch, and he did a good job fouling it off, and fortunately it went foul.
So the party's ready to work to each other again. Check swing. Good job by Moreland to lean on that breaking ball, and it's now a full count. Moreland trying to get aboard to start off this Rangers 7th. Adrian Beltre, the cleanup hitter, waits to be next, and it's doubtful that he would face Dunsing, especially if Moreland gets on base. Payoff pitch. This one's popped foul, and that will reach the seats behind home plate right down below us. And we will try it again on 3-2. Mitch at .273 average as he leads off the Rangers 7th inning. Skag pitch tracker showing you number 8 hanging up there for him. Again the payoff, and again a foul ball. Well, Mitch getting his money's worth against Dunsing here starting off the 7th.
He's definitely making him throw some pitches, that's for sure.
Well, if you're Dunsing, you got to be thinking, hey, I got away with a couple already in this at bat. Another 3-2. Got him swinging. Went with a breaking ball. And Mitch couldn't quite wait long enough. So that is out number 1. And that's going to do it as Ron Gardenhire with the right-handers coming up. Beltre, Rios, and Choice. Gardenhire wants the right-hander to come in from the bullpen. So Dunsing is finished for the afternoon. And we've got another pitching change going on here at Target Field. A 4-4 ball game. The Rangers and the Twins will take a timeout. Back after this on Fox Sports Southwest. In the top of the 7th inning, Anthony Swarzak, right-hander, 28 years of age, from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on now to take over for the Twins.
The scouting report on Anthony Swarzak, his 18th ball game with a 1-0 record. ERA just under 5 in 23 and 2/3 innings, and he led all major league relievers last year in innings pitched with 96 innings.
And Swarzak dealing to Adrian Beltre, and Beltre takes ball 1. Swarzak, a second-round draft pick out of high school by the Twins back in 2004. To the wind he goes, and the pitch is in the dirt all the way to the backstop. 2-0 to Beltre. Adrian 0 for 3 today, has popped out a couple of times and grounded out. Beltre against Swarzak is 4 for 11, and he does have a home run. 2-0. The 30-year-old right-hander comes back to the plate, and a shot up the middle into center field. A base hit for Beltre. Well, Adrian aboard, a 1-out single. Now Alex Rios will come up. Boy, and the way things are going for the Rangers, you love seeing anybody get on base in front of Alex Rios.
Yes, you do. He's the hottest man on the planet right now. It just seems though everything he hits that comes off of his bat is just a rocket.
How about those numbers against Anthony Swarzak? 4 for 9 for Rios, as if he needed something else going for him. Wow. Rios 1 for 3 today. Ooh, and he had a pitch to work with and fouled it back. Our Skag pitch tracker showing you that maybe a little on the inside part of the plate, but up in a pretty good hitting zone. Rios singled and scored his first time up. Since then has fly to center and line to center. Blowing outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Now Rios, a .329 hitter, that average right where he began play today. Team leader with 29 RBI. Loops one down the right field line and is slicing toward the line in pursuit, and sliding is Arcia, and the ball just landing in foul territory. Rios bid for extra bases and didn't miss by much.
Wow, that would have been something if that ball's in fair.
Would you have been surprised?
No, I would not have. I'm actually surprised it went foul.
Yeah. 1-2 now the count as Rios comes back to home plate and digs in that batter's box. Beltre at first with 1 out. A 4-4 game here in the 7th. And the pitch called strike 3. Jerry Lane, you heard something, but you didn't throw the right hand up.
He did not. Jerry might be getting a little tired back there, you think?
Man, well, Rios caught looking at a 3rd strike apparently.
Well, it looks like it tailed back and caught the outside part of the plate.
The first strikeout for Swarzak. 2 gone, and here's Michael Choice. Choice 2 for 3 today. And a strike at the belt. Michael, a pair of singles, a run scored. Got Beltre at first base with 2 outs. Rangers with 10 hits, the Twins with 9, both clubs with 4 runs. And the pitch is high at 1-2. 1-1, excuse me, with 2 outs. Swarzak working from the extreme first base side of the pitching rubber. He checks Beltre. And Choice chops 1 to 3rd. Plouffe goes the short way. They get Beltre on the force. And that'll do it for the Rangers in the 7th. No runs a hit, 1 man left. It's stretch time in the Twin Cities. The Rangers 4 and the Twins 4 on Fox Sports Southwest. Next post-game fireworks show, that's coming up on Friday, June the 6th. Fireworks show will follow the 7:05 game against the Cleveland Indians that night, and $15 tickets in the upper reserve seating sections are available. Just go to texasrangers.com/specials and use the coupon code FIREWORKS. Now, Alexi Ogando on a bright sunny afternoon here in late May. Going to face Trevor Plouffe, Oswaldo Arcia, and Josh Willingham. A 4-4 ball game. Plouffe 2 for 3. A double and a single. He has driven in a run. He has scored a run. And takes strike one. 21,170 on hand here this afternoon. Very comfortable late May day in Minneapolis. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rangers on this trip have been very fortunate. Well, the weather in Detroit was beautiful. It's been great here in Minnesota. It looks like it's going to be pretty good after tomorrow anyway in Washington.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Especially going back, on the eastern part of the country where it can be cold. We've pretty much lucked out on this road trip.
1-1 pitch is fouled back.
I think that's about as nice as I've ever seen it in Detroit.
Yeah, for 4 straight days. Yeah. I agree with you.
No humidity, just beautiful sunshine every day.
I'm not sure it gets any better than this, the way it is in Minnesota the last couple of days anywhere in the country. This is really pleasant. A ball and 2 strikes to Plouffe. Got him swinging. Ogando coming up and in, and Plouffe could not turn it up enough to catch up with the fastball. That is strikeout number 1 for Alexi. Now, before Arcia comes up, let's take time for a Mazda game break. Once again, here's Aaron Hardigan. Aaron. All right, Aaron, thank you. Arcia fouls off the first Ogando offering. It is 0-1. Well, this guy, the way he's swinging the bat right now, scares me to death in a tie ball game.
Yes, and anything inside, and he's going to be looking to pull. There's no question about it. He's not trying to hit a single to left field. He's trying to go give somebody a souvenir out in fair territory.
You can see Robinson Chirinos trying to get Alexi to throw that pitch high, and that's probably the best area to attack. That's down and away. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Arcia has had 2 doubles and a home run in this game. They probably were within 20 feet of each other, where the home run landed, where the other 2 clanked off the wall. And if there had not been a wall out there, those balls would still be going. They were smoked. Got the back door with that breaking ball. It's 1-2.
Even the fly ball he hit back in the 3rd inning was in that same spot.
Yep.
Just too high, fortunately.
Arcia 1 for 3 today. Ogando trying to get him for the 2nd out here in the bottom of the 7th. Alexi set. And the pitch. Here's that high fastball. Just a little too tall. 2-2. Now the Twins think with Arcia and with Osmeal Pinto, their catcher, they've got a couple of guys that are going to be power laden for the lineup. There's a drive to right field, and Rios has to play back and play down a hot. So Arcia showing you the kind of strength he has. He just reached out almost one-handed and lined that to right for a 1-out single.
Some nice hitting on Arcia's part. Ogando trying to throw him a backdoor breaking ball, but Arcia hooks it, stays back, uses those hands, and drills one into right field.
Arcia with his 2nd hit of the afternoon. Here comes the hottest Twin today, and that's Josh Willingham. Willingham is 2 for 2. An RBI single in the 3rd, a 2-run home run in the 5th. He has also walked. Alexi a check of first, and Willingham fouls that pitch out of play. Willingham is 1 for 3 with a couple of walks against Alexi Ogando. Robinson Chirinos checking with the Ranger bench to see if there are any special instructions on what they want to do with Willingham. Ogando gets the sign and sets the 0-1 pitch. 0-2.
Ogando going right after Willingham. 2 straight fastballs, 94, 95 miles an hour. He's just saying, hey, here's my best stuff. Let's see what you got.
And Willingham, a right-handed version of Arcia, if you get the ball up a little bit on the inner part of the plate, you got a pretty good chance against him.
Right.
But boy, if you get that out over the plate a little bit and down some, you probably won't get most of those back when he's swinging the bat well.
No, you don't want to give them a chance to get their arms extended.
Ogando with the 0-2 pitch. We'll try it again.
Tried to elevate there a little bit at 95, and Willingham was still able to get a piece of it.
Yeah, and that's when you know a guy like Willingham swinging the bat well, when he can foul that pitch off.
Yeah, that's not an easy thing to do, to be able to go upstairs and get any kind of wood on a fastball like that.
Now you would think they'd try to come back with a breaking ball to see if they can't get the strikeout. The 0-2. It's a little bit low. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I think they were listening to you, Buzz.
Yeah. As many fastballs as they'd thrown him, it was a good time for a breaking ball. Now you've got either way to go. You can go upstairs and give him the fastball, or try to back the breaking ball up. Maybe another one. 1-2 pitch. They went with another harder breaking ball this time and couldn't get Willingham to bite, and that's part of the problem. When he's swinging the bat well, he won't swing out of the strike zone at breaking balls.
Right. You've got to make sure that if you're throwing that fastball, you've got to hit your spot, because if you miss, with the way that Willingham swinging the bat right now, he just might not miss.
2-2 the count. Now the pitch is the one you want. You don't want to go to a full count if you can avoid it. Chirinos flashing the signs, and Ogando ready to go. That thing just missed the inside corner. Boy, Ogando thought he had it. Chirinos thought they had it.
Wow, nice pitch.
Everybody but Jerry Lane thought they had it. Our Skag pitch tracker thought they had it.
Wow.
No, full count. And we'll see if Arcia now at first base is turned loose with 1 out. Ogando sets. No movement at first. Breaking ball stays inside. And ball 4 puts runners at first and second. And it brings Mike Maddox out of the Ranger dugout. Ogando went from 0-2 to 3-2 and left a breaking ball inside. Kind of like to be a fly on the wall in that conversation. See if Ogando's a little bit upset about that 2-2 pitch that wasn't called a strike.
Right. And Willingham took some pretty close pitches. They were all called balls. A couple down in the zone, and then this 3-2 curveball that, wow, was very close. He's on either way.
The conference concluded. Mike Maddox has sufficiently redirected the focus of Alexi Ogando. Runners at first and second with 1 out. Jason Kubel, the right fielder, steps to the plate. He's 0 for 2 today. Kubel has walked, struck out, and fly to center field. Kubel just 0 for 1 against Ogando. Chirinos with Arcia at second. We'll go through a series of signs for each pitch. Alexi reading them and picks out one he wants. Rip and a miss. That pitch down and in for strike 1. Kubel along with a walk, flying to center field in the 5th inning. Struck out back in the 3rd. All 3 of those at-bats against the starter Nick Martinez. Now facing Alexi Ogando. Check swing foul, and again Ogando in front of the count at no balls and 2 strikes. Ogando got the strikeout of Plouffe to start the inning. Got ahead of Oswaldo Arcia, 2 strikes, and gave up the single to right field. Got ahead of Josh Willingham, no balls and 2 strikes. Lost him on a full count. And now he's ahead, no balls and 2 strikes, to Jason Kubel. Alexi ready, a check of second base. Got him swinging. Put some high octane there at 96 on the inside corner. Kubel not able to catch up. That is out number 2.
It's a big strikeout by Ogando. Reached back and got something a little bit extra to get the strikeout here on Kubel. Throws it right down the middle, right by him. 96-mile-an-hour fastball. It's got to be nice to be able to reach down and, you know, go from 92, 93 to 96.
I don't know. I've heard it is. I think if I had ever thrown a ball like that, I would have had to retire right on the spot. Wouldn't know what to do with it. So 2 gone. Here's Osmeil Pinto. Big strong catcher, 0 for 3 this afternoon. He takes a pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. Pinto reached on a fielder's choice, struck out, and flying to center field. 235 the average. You got Arcia at second base, Willingham at first. A 4-4 ball game in the bottom of the 7th inning. Time called as Pinto backed out of the batter's box. Ranger infield playing a couple of steps around to the left. The right-handed hitter. Outfield, maybe a step to the left. Ogando set for the 0-1. That evens at a ball and a strike. Arcia getting a huge lead out at second base. Rip and a miss by Pinto. It's 1-2.
Nice pitch by Ogando. You got Chirino setting up away, and they're going after him with hard fastballs. And Ogando's hitting that spot time and time again. There we go with a well-placed fastball.
Ogando again ready for the 1-2 pitch. It's on the way, and the pitch fouled away. Ogando getting up 35 pitch level after his next offering. He's got some help out there in the bullpen behind him. Jason Frazier is loosening for the Rangers. Rangers basically the 6-man bullpen now. After they sent out Aaron Porreta the other day, and when they brought Joe Saunders onto the active roster, cut their bullpen down for the time being. So Ron Washington paying very close attention to how many pitches each of his relievers are throwing. 1-2 pitch to right field. Alex Rios toward the line now, putting on a burst of speed and in fair territory, able to make the catch, and that will do it for the Twins. No runs, 1 hit, they strand 2. We're going to the 8th inning. It's the Rangers 4 and the Twins 4. in Minneapolis, and it's time now for our AT&T fan photo of the day. It's been sent to us by Judy. A great group shot out at, I assume, Globe Live Park. Thank you, Judy. We appreciate it. Nice to see the happy Ranger fans. And if you'd like to tweet your photo, use hashtag Southwest Fan Photo, and we'll put it in the hopper, see if we select it for one of our upcoming games. You can view it right here on Texas Rangers baseball. Casey Fiend coming out of the Twins bullpen to take over in this 8th inning.
A scouting report on Mr. Fiend. His 23rd ball game with a 3-1 record, a 1.71 ERA, 4 walks, 13 strikeouts, and he leads this Twins ball club with 9 holds so far this season. He likes to use that little sinker that he's got to really keep the ball down in the zone and get a lot of ground balls with it.
Well, Casey Fiend, the 30-year-old right-hander out of Santa Rosa, California. Grew up in Southern California. Ended up attending William Penn University down in Iowa. On here to face the bottom third of the Ranger order. Leonys Martin starting off. And he bluffs a bunt, takes high for ball 1. And that bluff had Trevor Plouffe, the third baseman, coming down the line a little bit. You can see he's already started way in, respecting Leonys' ability to lay down that bunt. Martin 1 for 2 today with a double. He has scored twice. As Fiend misses the outside corner, it's 2-0. Martin walked and scored in the 2nd. Had a 1-out double in the 6th inning and scored the tying run as Robinson Chirinos brought him home with the single to left field. 2-0 pitch. That is right down the middle.
You know,
go ahead.
With Martin's speed, you see Plouffe way in at third base. He's a good 10 feet inside the bag, and that's pretty gutsy to be in there that close, because Martin can, you know, keep his hands inside the baseball and drive it over that way. It's going to get on him in a hurry.
I think so. It's the hot corner when he's back at normal depth. So you get in there and it's scalding. 3-1 the count. Leonys trying to get aboard to start off the Ranger 8th. A 4-4 game. Casey Fiend with the pitch. And he runs the count full. Fiend, a big arm. He was 6th last year in the American League as far as strikeouts per 9 innings for right-handed relievers. 10.6 strikeouts per 9 innings for Fiend. Payoff pitch to Martin. And that's fouled back. We'll try it again. Pretty good group on that list. Greg Holland of the Royals had the most, 13.8 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's a whole bunch of strikeouts.
That's just throwing them up there and mowing them down.
Another 3-2 and another foul ball. Leonys making it difficult for Casey Fiend. He'll have at least 8 pitches in this at bat. Martin with that hit now, the average just below the 280 mark. He's at 279. Fiend nods in agreement and sets. That ball is hammered high and deep to right center field. Going back is Arcia. It's off the wall into second base, and putting the brakes on is Leonys Martin, and he gave that a ride. That is Arcia territory out there. A leadoff double. The Rangers have the go-ahead run at second with nobody out.
Martin gets a fastball in the middle part of the plate. It's like a little cutter. Left it up in the zone, and Martin drills it in the right center field off the wall. He thought he had it, and he didn't. Probably could have made it to third base if he had been taken off from the time he hit the ball.
That's back-to-back 2-baggers and back-to-back balls that Leonys looked like he thought was out of the yard, but not to be. He is, however, at second. Robinson Chirinos, the RBI single his last time, and he is around to bunt against Fiend here. Takes outside for ball 1.
Look at it. He gets one hanging up, and he put a pretty good jolt in it, but hits that off the wall. Doesn't quite go as far as he thought it was going to go.
A 1 ball and no strikes. Chirinos 1 for 3. That RBI was his 10th of the year. Again around to bunt, and he gets it out in front of home plate. It's a good one. Pinto has to fire to first base with Dozier, the second baseman, covering. Chirinos out on to third. Leonis Martin, he's there with 1 out for Rougned Odor. Two 4 on the sacrifice. And Leonis down there at third. You can't rule out the possibility of a squeeze. Just depends on whether or not Ron Washington has confidence enough in Odor to get the ball down as to whether he would do it. But certainly with the number 9 man up there in the past, Wash has used that as a weapon. And the Twins now will pull the infield all the way in a 4-4 ball game. We'll play everyone at the cut of the grass with Odor at the plate. Rougned 0 for 3 today, has grounded out twice and struck out. Fiend's first pitch hit hard but pulled foul down the right side. Odor looks like he broke that bat, and he's going back for another one. Maybe he knew something by having those bats stacked up there. Yeah, well, first pitch, I'm going to get jammed. I'll take another one up there with me.
I think the one thing he's known all day is that those bats just aren't feeling quite right today.
Yeah. Now 0-1 to count to Odor. Fiend a high set, a check of third. And the pitch outside. You see a lot of pitches out there with a runner at third and a potential suicide squeeze. Tough for a left-hander to go much across the plate if you're going to. You don't have to have a real pitch out, but you throw it outside, it's going to be real tough for him to get the ball down. Fiend's 1-1. Now 1-2. Now Rougned has to go into contact mode. Let's get the ball in play. Let Leonis Martin use some of that speed down there at third. See if you can manufacture a run here in the 8th inning. Pinto flashing the signs out. Fiend ready, a check of third. And the pitch outside, 2-2. Rougned with 8 runs driven in. Got Leonis Martin at third base. 1 out in a 4-4 game in the 8th inning. The 2-2 pitch. High, 3-2. Odor not over anxious on that pitch. He was able to lay off. The count is full, and following Odor in the order is the top of the Ranger order. That would be Shin-Soo Choo. Fiend ready. The payoff pitch. Skied to right center field. This should be deep enough to score. Leonis Martin is coming back in now. The catch is made. Here the tag. Here comes the throw by Santana. The slide. He is safe at home. Now Martin with that great speed. That ball not deeply hit into right center field, but deep enough. And Martin able to score. Rougned Odor with the RBI sacrifice fly, and the Rangers take a 5-4 lead.
Odor had a tremendous at bat. Took a couple of tough pitches up high in the zone. Got another fastball up in the zone and gets enough wood on it and hits it deep enough. Didn't think that he hit it deep enough, but center fielder Santana comes in, makes a great throw, just a little bit off, and that allows Martin to get that hand on that plate. So great at bat by Odor.
Well, the Rangers back on top as Shin-Soo Choo takes ball 1. Now, I'm really surprised that Santana did not give way to Arcia after the throw we saw Arcia make into second base earlier in the game. It's like he has the stronger arm out there, but you've got a couple of young guys that aren't used to playing next to each other. Take a look at the AT&T U-verse rewind. Second inning, Shin-Soo Choo, the opposite field, a 3-run double with 2 outs. And that got the Rangers going here this afternoon. Rolls over on one and grounds out to second base as Dozier throws on to Mauer, and that'll do it. But the Rangers capitalize after Leonys Martin's leadoff double. Rougned Odor gets the sacrifice fly, and the Rangers now lead 5-4. Five-4 Texas. And we head to the bottom of the 8th inning, and Jason Frazier, the 36-year-old veteran right-hander, has come out of the Ranger pen to take over.
And this is Mr. Frazier's 21st ball game with a 1-0 record, 7 holds, an ERA of 2.12, and came in last night's ball game and threw a third of an inning. And Jason Frazier really likes to use that fastball and cutter and changeup that he's got. They'll give it up 1 home run on the year.
This will be the third appearance for Jason in this series. Came in Monday's game also and worked an inning of scoreless relief. So facing the bottom part of the order, at least the numbers 8 and 9 hitters to start things off. Eduardo Escobar. And he takes strike 1. Escobar 0 for 3 today. He has popped out, flied out, and lined into a double play. Well, the Rangers regaining the lead, playing a little small ball. Chopper out to short. Sardinas, a quick release right on the money with the throw. That is out number 1. And before Danny Santana steps to the plate, let's sit down and check in with John Radigan. John?
Yeah, Buzz, had a long chat with Jason Frazier this morning and just talking about how good the bullpen has done, how well he has done. And I asked him if he feels like he has a much more defined role this year, and he said he absolutely does. You remember, he got off to a little bit of a slow start last year with the Rangers, and of course, Bram Washington, Mike Maddox were just trying to get to know him, and he admits that he went to the back of the line, which he believes he should have been at the time. He feels like now, though, he's worked himself into a pretty prominent role, and he's awfully proud of the way he has sort of embraced that role, and the numbers indicate he's done pretty well with it, guys.
Yeah, John, that's exactly right. That's great stuff. Jason has become the most dependable this year anyway. And you go back to the second half of last year, I think for the last almost full year now, he has been the most dependable right-hander the Rangers have had down there, other than either Nathan last year or Soria this year as a closer.
Right, he's done a tremendous job, getting from the back of the line to the front of the line over the last year, and he's done that just by coming in and throwing strikes.
Yep.
Not letting too many runners score when he inherits runners late in the ball game, and he's just done a fantastic job.
1-1, the count to Danny Santana. And a little late rip and a miss. It is 1-2. Santana 3 for 3 today. He's had a bunt single, and twice he has singled through the hole on the right side. Busy afternoon for the young center fielder slash shortstop for the Twins. Batting average at .378 in limited play. And Frazier missing inside, so Jason has a count of 2-2. Rangers 5 runs on 11 hits. The Twins 4 runs on 10 hits. Been kind of a back and forth affair since the scoring got started in the third inning. The second inning, I should say. Way inside, the count is now full. Well, with the speed that Santana possesses, you can be rest assured that Jason Frazier does not want to walk him with 1 out. Santana hitting in the number 9 slot, the top of the order, and Brian Dozier waits to be next. Jason sets the payoff pitch. Got him swinging. Well, a little extra on that fastball, and Frazier gets his first strikeout as he fans Santana 2 away.
It's a big out right there. Big pitch by Frazier. 3-2 doesn't want Santana to just get a free pass. So throws him a fastball right down the middle of the plate. Santana whiffs it.
No secret there, huh?
No.
Here's what I brought with me. What can you do with it? The answer in that case would be nothing.
Nada.
Well, here's Dozier, who has walked in 4 trips to the plate. He is 0 for 3. A couple of fly balls and a tapper out in front of the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. Brian Dozier currently hitting at .244. In his limited appearances against Jason Frazier, has gone 2 for 3. Frazier back to the plate. And 2-0. Dozier has been a run scoring machine. He scored over 20% of the Twins runs this year. Came in tied for the most runs scored in the American League at 43 today. And the Rangers have done a very good job in this series of keeping him off the sacks. He is just 2 for 14. Frazier behind him, though, 2-0. And drops in the off-speed pitch, 2-1.
The Rangers have pitched Dozier pretty tough. He's got a couple of doubles down the left field line. But other than that, they've pretty much kept him off the bases. He's got a walk today, but that's pretty much it. He's been very quiet.
2 outs, bases empty, the 2-1 pitch. And that is on the outside corner. Lane ringing that pitch up for a Sky pitch tracker. Yeah, there might have been a little charity involved. But hey, nothing wrong with a little charity from time to time. 2-2. Frazier's next pitch. He tried to bull rush that one and threw it about 54 feet. Well, the count has gone full. It's one of those splitters that kind of got caught in the hand and it just hung on. Jason rubbing up that baseball and kind of refocus here. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Dozier with Joe Mauer looming in the on-deck circle. Chirinos with the signs. Frazier going through a couple of them. Now the right-hander is ready. The payoff pitch. Got him swinging. Boy, Jason Frazier, back-to-back strikeouts, sends the Twins down in order. And we have finished 8 innings in Minneapolis. It's the Rangers 5 and the Twins 4 on Fox Sports Southwest.
To head to Washington, D.C., back where it all started for the Texas Rangers, just their second trip to D.C. To face the Nationals team. Colby Lewis against Steven Strasburg tomorrow. That is a great one. AT&T Uverse TV brings you the preview of tomorrow's game. We'll have it for you on TXA 21 tomorrow at 6 o'clock. They'll have a pregame show over there at 5:30, and we hope you will be with us for the first game in about 6 years in Washington, D.C. for your Texas Rangers. Buzz and Mac, I know you guys will be there.
Yeah, we will be, John, and kind of tag along, and I'm interested to see Steven Strasburg in action. I have not seen him in person yet. But first, the Rangers have a little bit of work to do here in Minneapolis, and they will face Matt Guerrero, who's come on to become the 5th pitcher used this afternoon by Ron Gardenhire in this ball game. First pitch of the 9th inning to Luis Sardinas, and it is strike one. Guerrero worked in yesterday's ball game, worked an inning and a third. Back-to-back outings for the veteran right-hander. 1-1. Sardinas getting the start today at shortstop. He'd finished up the game after Elvis was ejected last night playing short. Today, Sardinas 1 for 4. Rip and a miss as Guerrero pulled the string. A ball and 2 strikes. Guerrero reading the signs, goes to the line. The 1-2 pitch got him swinging in the dirt. Pinto, a little lob down to first, and Sardinas is retired on the strikeout. A 1 away for Mitch Moreland. Mitch, a base hit in 4 trips this afternoon. Had a single back in the 3rd inning. Also struck out a couple of times and grounded out today. Did not face Guerrero in yesterday's ball game. Right-hander rocks and deals, and the big slow hook drops in over the outside corner for strike one. Matt Guerrero, 35-year-old veteran from Cleveland, Ohio. Pitch in the dirt, a ball and a strike. He originally was a 10th round selection back in the '99 draft by the Chicago White Sox. Came up with the Twins back in 2004 for his first major league action. And in the Ranger bullpen, you have Joaquin Soria and Neil Kotz. Kind of interesting. Soria has pitched the last 2 days, or last 2 nights in a row, and Ron Washington said he has little hesitation using him 3 consecutive days, but he has Kotz up just in case. As Moreland down on strikes, Guerrero has punched out the first 2 that he's faced, and Adrian Beltre now will come up.
Yeah, I'm not sure Wash really wants to use Soria 3 days in a row. If he doesn't have to, he's definitely not going to. But he's the closer, and if that situation arises, then just might see him run him out there.
Yeah, and looking to the bottom of the 9th as Beltre slams one to left field for a base hit. Adrian with his 2nd straight hit. He's now 2 for 5 after that single. Well, the Rangers now an even dozen hits. Looking toward the bottom of the 9th, you got the left-hander Joe Mauer leading off, and a right-hander in Plouffe, and another left-hander in Arcia. And he may have Kotz come in to face the first 3 hitters with the 2 left-handers sprinkled in there. We'll have to wait and see. If it's a 1-run game, if the Rangers are to score another run, now that might change the thinking all around.
Right.
But here's Rios, who is 1 for 4. And the hot-hitting Alex Rios takes strike one. Rios singled and scored back in the 2nd inning. Since then, He's had a couple of flyouts and a strikeout. Beltre at first with 2 away. That ball is hit well to center field. Going back is Santana on the warning track, and he makes the catch. Orioles another hard out. Rangers gone. We're headed to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Rangers taking a 5-4 lead, trying to bring it home. Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. By AT&T UVerse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. And by your Texas Ford dealer. Take the EcoBoost Challenge to see why Ford is the best in Texas. Bottom of the 9th inning, another one-run affair. Rangers on top 5-4. The last 3 ball games have come down to this point. And a new pitcher on the hill. It will be the left-hander Neil Kotz to begin the bottom of the 9th inning.
Let's got a report on Kotz's numbers. 26th appearance with a 1-3 record at 3.68 ERA in 22 innings. Opponent's batting average is .259. He's dropped that ERA pretty good over his last 15 games. It's a 1.29 ERA.
And defensive change. Daniel Robertson with that new mask protecting the fractured bones in his face. He's out in left field now, and he's taken over for Michael Choi. So Robertson, Martin, and Rios left, center, and right. Joe Mauer takes strike 1 from Neil Kotz. Mauer 1 for 4 with a 3rd inning single today. Off the outside corner, it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Mauer yesterday faced Kotz in the 7th inning. Neil came on to face him with the runner at 3rd base and 2 outs, and he struck out Mauer in that at bat. Ties him up with a high fastball. It is 1-2. Rangers have had great success when they've been able to get to that pitch, that high fastball, inside fastball, as the count went on. First pitch, no luck with it at all. But as the count went on, they were able to set it up and really get the ball in there on Joe Mauer and jam him several times. 1-2 pitch hit hard, but right at the shortstop, Luis Sardinas. That is out number 1. A nice big out for Neil Kotz and the Rangers.
It's a great pitch by Kotz, just coming in, and that's the one batter that Wash wanted him to face and get out, get that tough Joe Mauer, that left-handed hitter out, and he did a fine job keeping the ball in on him and finally set him up and had him hit the ball right where he wanted him to. And that's a shortstop for out number 1.
No, Ron Washington is going to ask for his closer, Joakim Soria, to come on and get the final 2 outs. He'll have Trevor Plouffe and Oswaldo Arcia, and it'll be a rematch of sorts from night before last. We will tell you all about it when we come back after this timeout on Fox Sports Southwest. To show your school spirit at a Rangers game. Get discounted tickets for Wednesday, July 9th, that game against the Astros, and show your support for the Rangers and the Mean Green. Go to TexasRangers.com/UNT for details. Drive to deep left center field, but playable. Leonis Martin into the alley, and Trevor Plouffe gave pause for just a second to Joakim Soria as he launched a long drive that stayed in the ballpark.
Just a little bit of hesitation there as soon as that ball was hit. You just don't know if it's going to get out. And Plouffe looked for one pitch, and he got it. Out over the fastball, out over the middle of the plate. And unfortunately, it stayed in the ballpark. So one pitch, out number 2.
And now the rematch, that, if you will, from Tuesday night. Oswaldo Arcia facing Joakim Soria in the 9th inning, a 1-run ball game, and with 1 out, Arcia almost hit the ball out of the yard. He got a double. He eventually would score the tying run in what turned out to be a winning bottom of the 9th. And here he dumps one into right field. That is a 2-out single. And big distinction. He's not in scoring position, but now you've got to face probably the hottest hitter of the day for the Twins, and that would be Josh Willingham.
Kept Arcia in the ballpark, which is obviously a good thing, and just a single, and not didn't get into scoring position right away. So with Josh Willingham, this is not somebody you really want to make a mistake with today. He's been swinging the bat extremely well. 3 RBIs on the day, so this is another dangerous hitter for Soria.
And Ron Gardner has gotten some speed off the bench, and Aaron Hicks is going to pinch run for Arcia. Well, Hicks not able to start. Got some injury issues, but able to pinch run, and he becomes the tying run at first base with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning. Willingham, a couple of walks, a single and a home run, and a late swing and a miss. The first pitch from Soria. And Robbie Ross, just in case, is up throwing in the Ranger bullpen. Willingham 1 for 3 against Joakim Soria. Big slow hook. 0-2.
Soria goes with that super slow-mo curveball that keeps it away. If it wasn't going to be a strike, at least it's out of the way and out of the zone and not floating down the middle of the plate.
On Tuesday night, this matchup produced a Willingham strikeout against Soria, but Willingham swinging the bat much better here today. 0-2 pitch. Couldn't get him to do it 2 times in a row. Joaquin gave him an opportunity.
He did.
And Willingham said, no, not again.
I saw that one once before. Willingham able to lay off of this pitch. That's a tough pitch to lay off of, especially after you just swung at it the pitch before.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And the pitch very high, 2-2. And Torino saying, okay, hold it down now. Joaquin, we need a pitch here. This is where you want to go after Willingham. You don't want it to go 3-2. That would give Hicks an opportunity to be off and moving with the pitch. 2-2, you won't see him running. Ron Gardenhire checking things out from the Twins dugout. Breaking ball, called strike 3. Inside corner, Willingham frozen like an old TV dinner. He is gone. The Rangers have won 3 out of 4 in the second stop of this 3-city tour. Joaquin Soria comes in, gives up a 2-out single to Arcia, but gets Willingham on a called 3rd strike, and the Rangers win it 5-4. Well, how about that pitch? That was the 3rd slow look that Willingham had seen in that at bat. Swung at one, took one, and took another, and this one in the zone for the called 3rd strike.
Soria backed that one up and kept it on the inside part of the plate, and